Let's call the meeting to order. Rise for the pledge, please.
Oh, you got the flags.
To the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sit down, Jason. Not you.
Okay, welcome everybody to our August 5th, 26th work session meeting. We are calling this to order at 6:01. Just a few announcements before we begin. Decorum, please. No fisticuffs, no foul language.
Sue.
Unless it's appropriate, I guess, Sue. Decorum, please. We are recording, so remember, if you talk about any subject, it'll be memorialized there. You talk about anyone, it's going to be memorialized there. If your phones, please silence your phones, if you would. So we don't have any of those pesky interruptions. And we're going to have the agenda up here as we go through the meeting. If you insist on a copy, paper copy, we'll make one for you. Yeah, okay. We have a lot of stuff tonight. This is going, the 6-page agenda. Well, some of this stuff is just going to be a hit on the topics, and we can move on from this. But some things we're going to have to pause on a little bit here. So the purpose of this meeting, work session, is really to discuss some of these topics, to hear reports, and to tee up the items that we will take action on at next Wednesday's business meeting. So that's really the purpose of this meeting. So just remember, the longer you talk, the longer we're going to be here, Mayor.
Okay,
But that's okay. We're not going to put a time limit on you.
My
okay.
son wanted to know if I'd be home by midnight. So I hope we can put that.
Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum? I mean, a roll call to see if we have quorum?
Mr. John McAdoo,
Here.
Mayor,
Yes,
Mr.
here.
Bob Tate,
Here.
Mr. Jason Stoynoff,
Here.
Miss Sue Wood,
Here.
Mr. Kevin Farkas,
Here?
and Mr. Justin Patrick.
Here.
Okay, we have a physical quorum. That's great. Okay. This current agenda, is there anything of substance that you want to add to this? If it's minor, we'll just roll with it, but if there's anything of substance, any particular topic that we need to add. No, are we all good? Okay, I'm sure if it comes up, we'll deal with it. Okay, all right, so we'll proceed with the agenda being approved. This agenda, by the way, was published 24 hours in advance, consistent with the Sunshine Act, published through the borough website. Okay, citizens' comments on any of the agenda items. Anybody have any burning desire to make a comment? I mean, we do have a good and welfare section at the end for non-agenda items, but
So it's agenda items only?
we would like to keep it to agenda items.
Until the end.
If there's something that's not particular, I mean, if you have something to say,
Yeah, it's a citizen.
we're cozy enough. but-
Yeah,
I got a quick, easy one.
okay.
And you guys can figure it out later on down the
Can you
road.
state your name and address, please?
Jacob Tate, 335 Brook Street.
Okay.
So I am working on my property down on West 4th. It doesn't have an address. It's listed through the county as 0 West 4th. We're cleaning that out and cleaning it up. One of the issues that I'm currently having, and I'll try and keep it as brief as possible, there is a giant catch basin smack dead in the center of my property, which limits the access to my property. And I'm trying to smooth that hill out to try and like beautify the side of the road down there, make it easier to mow and things like that. I would like to work with the borough to try and make something happen so that I can make that possible. It's like I think it's the only catch basin on that road or anywhere in the borough for that matter that's set up like that. It's kind of like a weird, bad setup. So I didn't know if I could get permission at some point in time, doesn't have to be today, but sometime in the very near future, to try and rectify that problem. It's nasty, it's a swamp down there. So we gotta figure something out for that. And then the only other thing that I wanted to mention or bring up, we had storms last year that came about and I lost right around 40 trees in my backyard. Well, part of the problem that I'm running into is 40 trees is a lot of trees to chip up and haul out and things like that. I know that the burn ordinance in the borough states that it has to be recreational fire only, but I've noticed other places that we work at, a lot of them will offer a way to get a permit for the burn, and that would allow the fire chief to come down, take a look at it, give proper recommendation, and then also somebody to issue a permit. Now, that is something that you have to pay to have done. So right now, my only options are pay a whole bunch of money to have trucks come in there, chip it all up, haul it all out. I don't own a chipper, but I do own, enough equipment to where I can pile stuff up. No, I'm not talking about having the world's biggest fire in my backyard. This is something that will take, a few weekends out of the year, a Saturday or a Sunday, or even if it has to be on a certain day, it doesn't matter. You guys can pick that, but that would tremendously help me out. Now, I know there are codes, so like whenever we work in other places, I work with a lot of tree companies. If it's too close to a house or if it's like right in the middle of town, they're like, no way, not gonna happen. But a lot of like the places that own lots of property, there's 680 acres behind my house. I own a whole bunch of property behind my house. So like, I'm kind of in that weird gray zone right now where I have a lot of land to maintain and I have no way to maintain it with, myself. I would have to call in contractors, and it's kind of a crap deal for me because nobody in West Mayfield has 40 trees in their yard, but I do, so that's kind of the tough thing that I'm falling into. And I don't have $80,000 to have trees that fell down to haul all this stuff out. So that's kind of why I figured I'd at least mention it to you guys. Hey, if there's a way for the borough to make more money by selling permits for that, because I would happily pay for that. That's way better than paying $80,000. It's just extra revenue for the borough if you guys would be willing to do that.
Didn't you get a burning permit from White Township?
White Township, yes.
And why couldn't you do that now?
I can, but I would have to move everything across the creek.
No, I see.
And I'd rather not do that either.
I think we'd have to see what the ordinance says. I don't believe we have a provision for burning permits. That's my guess. We'd have to see what the ordinance says.
Sure.
I'm not sure how permissible it would be for us to create a permit for you. It could be done, I guess. Permit for anybody would be a general thing, but let's look into it and see what our ordinance says and see if we have any possibility
I don't think
there.
our ordinance says anything about burning,
It doesn't.
does it?
Yeah, you're not allowed,
Yeah.
not allowed to burn.
That's that's what that
That was
came up
done
whenever we
like
did,
10 years ago or something like that.
when we started the,
Jay, put your griddle
Recycle.
out beside what you're burning and you're making food, so you can.
Take a pack of hot dogs.
Seriously, put a hot dog,
I have heard that in the
Why are you making a
past.
hot dog?
put a hot dog on a stick
I'm
and just set
trying
it
to do
there.
things the right way.
Write us all down for good reading.
We'll bring down the marshmallows.
I guess we have to look at the ordinance, see
But I've also,
It's
we were just
ridiculous.
talking about that lot that I'm getting ready to work on. It's horrendous down there. It has not been maintained for years. Partially my fault, but the renter that was renting that property was supposed to be taking care of all that stuff. He never did. Well, now he got the boot, and I'm the one that's gonna come in there and clean that up. There's a lot of overgrown vegetation there, and rather than bring that all up here, there's gonna be a lot of it. And then the borough has to pay to transport all of that stuff out to Brighton Township. I could have that gone in 5 to 6 hours with a burn.
Okay, let's see what the ordinance says, see what we're working with there. And then maybe we could sort of figure out maybe a special situation here, because it is rare. A lot of people in this borough do not have a amount of
Right.
trees and stuff, so maybe this is something we could maybe work out.
That'd be fantastic.
So we'll look into it, as they say, right? You've heard that a million times.
Yeah, I was gonna
We'll
say,
look at-
Kevin Farkas just said he's gonna look into something.
And you're looking for both properties, right?
Yes,
Yours and
both
West.
properties, yes.
Okay.
And again, if I have to talk with a fire chief or somebody like, normally when I do that through White Township, Ray says, do whatever you want. But occasionally, he'll be a little froggy and say, hey, I'd like to come down and see what you're doing. That's fine, I have no problem with that. If they have special recommendations, I'll do that, but, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention instead of just doing it.
Sure.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
Did anyone here want to, because I forgot to put this up, but I put your name down. Nope.
Well, one thing too with that, if it's gonna be that big one, I would just let Beaver Falls Fire Department know as well when we do the permit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's gonna take more than 5 or 7 hours.
Oh,
I
no,
know-
that's just for the one property, that's
Yeah.
gonna be minimal. The other one, yeah, no, that's, if I do ever have fires, they're usually between 5 and 6 hours, and then I snuff them out, and that's that.
Yeah, because I would just, make sure you let that way you don't have somebody.
I'm not gonna light any fires until I get the approval from you guys.
Okay, good. Okay, seeing no other citizens who would like to speak, let's go ahead and move on to Office of Mayor.
Okay.
Hey, how's your budget doing, by the way? Are you burning through the cash, or?
Now,
Okay, good.
I just have to turn one,
I don't have it.
oh, I had it up here. Oh, here it is. I just have to turn 1+1 in to Jenna for the round table we had, but
Okay,
that's all. I'm not burning through any cash, no.
okay.
And, no, and then I had 2 phone calls. The last one from Debbie Chesnick was a phone call, but it was a message because I didn't recognize the number from the hospital. She just yelled at me and screamed at me and said, I'm in Pittsburgh now. I don't know what's going on, and she hung up. I never got even the number that she called me from.
When
I
was
don't know
that?
what's going on.
When was that?
That was within the last 5 days, so,
She called me and wants to know who took her greenhouse.
well, I don't know. So all
And
I
her
can,
swing set.
The owner of the property.
That's what I told her, talk to the owner.
This is nothing
I didn't
that,
answer it, this was just a message, it just went on
this
and
is
on.
nothing that really is in the realm of your office, correct?
No, but yeah, I got drug into it as well as you, and
I
She
didn't-
had a preliminary hearing yesterday or the day before, and I don't know what happened after that.
okay, so that was up with that. Then I got a message from one of the residents here that went to, I guess Beaver Falls has once a year a Falls Community Night, the second Tuesday of August, at all the different parks in Beaver Falls. White Township, Mount Washington, downtown Beaver Falls, all these different places. And the police supply the meat and the watermelon and some other things. And then everyone that goes brings a covered dish. Why can't we do this in West Mayfield? Don't you own the parking lot next to the fire department? It doesn't have to be the fire department, just the parking lot. And then the neighbors can get out and get together and know each other. I said, you know what? We have a meeting on Wednesday, I'll bring it up. And I will talk to everyone there and bring it up. And that would be really nice. Then I'll talk to them Wednesday at the meeting because the fire department and the police department both come. And I'll ask why. I don't know, he's looking at the bathrooms, I'm sure.
What kind of meat?
I don't know. I don't know. It could be anything, burgers and dogs. But she went on and on and on and on. She really wants to get together so people can see that there's nice people in this borough.
Well, may I suggest that you,
It's your neighbor.
oh, Vicky?
Vicky,
Oh,
yes.
Vicky, yeah. Well, I suggest you reach out to Vicky and organize the outlines of a plan.
Okay.
So we can
Find out
maybe
what kind of
make this happen. It's a great idea.
It is, you know what? It's a great idea.
Yeah, sure.
She says people even supply small porta potties.
Yeah.
How many porta potties, less people in that parking lot, whatever. I think it's great.
Okay.
There's lots of parking.
Yeah, why don't you sort of think about making this a little more concrete in a plan and work with Vicky? Vicky's well connected, I know
I
that.
would say the park would be a better place
The
than the.
park, yeah, whatever works, but,
I
yeah,
know, but I
okay.
think it should love it. out
Okay,
here
good.
in
That's
that
good
par-
plan.
In that parking lot. She'd
So will
love
you-
to put something on.
Will you have something ready, like, to drop on us, next week? Like for us to put a motion up to proceed?
Maybe.
Okay, you work on that.
Good.
Okay, great.
All right.
Anything else?
No, I talked to all of them about, no, I gave them a couple announcements about the car cruise, but it was the workers, so we're good.
We got the grill down there too, so if they're gonna we can bring the grill up. Someone will have to be with the truck.
Yeah.
And the grill's where the car cruise is gonna be.
Yeah, but that's not the same day, is
The
it?
girls down in the first, in the shelter, first shelter.
So if we would have something in the parking lot up
Yeah,
there,
we
it could
can't
be
keep it in
brought
the
up.
kitchen store.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, that's all I have.
Good. Office of Tax Collector, Kathleen Brewer, what do you have? How's your budget doing? Are you spending money to
I
collect
think
those?
I am, but I don't know how much. I figured I'd spend it till she told me I couldn't have any more.
Okay. Well, we'll catch you on the audit.
Okay,
Yeah, number two, yeah.
okay.
Do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay. I put this on here because this was the news. I talked to you about it. We found out that Butler Agnew and Associates can and will do, we're on contracted with them to do the RETC annual audit. So no change there. As we'll see later on, we do have to change our independent auditor because now that they're our bookkeeper, they can't do it. So we have to change their CPAs for that. So, but this real estate audit, good to go. So I feel confident with that. Okay? So if you don't have anything else, right, okay. So we have the engineer on here. It's always, we should keep an eye out on any engineering work that we may need here in the borough. If you or we ever run into this place where we thinking about engineering projects, we could bring in Whitmer to these meetings and discuss these kinds of things. So, but that's on here anyway. So, and for the solicitor, obviously Joe doesn't come to these meetings, but FYI for us, this is the stuff that we're working on. Joe is reviewing a realtor's formal complaint we received. We have some draft ordinances in the work. The International Fire Code ordinance, which we received the draft proposal, which we actually approved last month. It's been duly advertised, and so this is teed up to vote on at next week's meeting, the fire code ordinance. And the zoning ordinance, stuff around data centers, we had asked Joe to have something prepared for August. I haven't heard anything, and this is a big thing, and so we'll see where we land on
I was
that.
at his office on Thursday or Friday, and he said he'll have it ready by the meeting.
Oh, he will?
Mhm.
Okay,
That's what he said.
okay. Yeah, this is gonna be a big thing, but, that's good that he'll have that. Okay, and this is a starting point for this whole can of worms, if you're aware of what's going on in Big Beaver in particular, and the other municipalities around here. Ooh, look out. We're gonna be dealing with this one way or another, I assume. So, and then the solicitation work, we had asked Joe to draft a new solicitation ordinance to have that by September, so that'll be coming up. Joe is also still working on the GEMS proposal to divide the assets. I don't want to get into the technical stuff of that because that's still pre-decisional. In other words, we talk about that in executive session, but that's what Joe's working on. And then there's litigation. We have a PUC complaint around our PA1 call, which I believe we're about to resolve.
He said
So-
he'll have all that ready for Wednesday as well.
That's great. And then Ms. Bailey in the borough had requested some compensation for some sewer work, and I don't know where we are on that, but those are the two litigation pieces that we have. Luckily, so far. Okay, so that's that. So moving on to council, our budget and finance section here. Justin, some of this stuff you obviously know more than anybody, but some of the stuff on here, I'm pretty sure you're not quite aware of it, because I've been dealing with it. But, so let's just go down the list here and, you handle what you can handle. Your budget, how you doing? You spend any money on this particular area for any reason?
Yep, no money.
No parties, no?
No parties.
Okay, all right. How's the BAA transition?
I sent you a status update, so I don't know if we ever want to make that public or not, but basically, they're in the process of getting all the 2025 transactions in. I think they pulled in like 300. There was a pretty detailed response, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're getting everything into QuickBooks Online, so hopefully, there were a couple things that they needed just for roadblocks, which Jenna is working on getting taken care of, so.
okay. This, apparently this is going really fast and well. I mean, there's still some technical things, a lot of technical things really to work with, but,
Yeah, and each month I'll continue to stay up with them,
Yeah.
just make sure they don't need anything, so.
good.
You wanna ask me if I wanna spend any money?
We'll get to you, we'll get to you. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Okay. Now, this next section here, this is actually something different. I added this to these work session agendas, added these sections to the Monday memos as well. Policies and procedures. So every one of these areas, we're going to touch upon any policies and procedures that are relevant to this area. For example, we passed a policy that we passed a fraud risk, what's it called, Justin? Fraud
risk awareness?
risk.
Fraud risk awareness.
Well, that's the training,
Yeah,
but
that's what we,
what's
yeah,
there's a policy.
yeah, fraud.
Fraud risk management policy.
That's it, okay. But out of that was a requirement that all of us do training in this area. And believe it or not, I'm really impressed. I think there are two folks, I will not name you, John, and Jason, who have to do this, but yeah, you can do it. But it's really impressive to me that everyone has done this. Gerald, Brian has done it, we, in passing it, you know what I mean? And this is, thanks to Justin, we have this really cool explainer video, and then we have this quiz that goes along with it, 15-question quiz. Yeah, so this is, we're ratcheting up the level here on our financial awareness control, stuff like that. So that's part of our policy stuff that's happening. This other thing here, I just want to throw it out here as a discussion, comes out of our business roundtable, the possibility of a business privilege tax to benefit community economic development. Now, we don't need to debate this tonight. This is something that we will have to take some time to figure out what something like this could be, what it could look like, what it really benefits. I mean, we kicked around the idea of all businesses paying what is literally called a business privilege tax to benefit community economic development stuff in some way or fashion. To support the business community even. So, I don't know, it might be a lead balloon or something, but this is consistent with what the stamp DCED analysis suggested, that we look at more revenue streams, more ways to bring revenue into the borough. We do not have, and those of you who are business owners, you'll cringe, I know, but we have no benefit from businesses in this borough. Other communities do, other municipalities have this privilege tax and a lot of other taxes and permits on businesses in particular. We don't, other than employees, being in the borough. But anyways, I just want to put this in this area here because it's something we want to think about as a policy that could then lead, obviously, to an ordinance if it should go there. But,
That's a nice idea until you start running businesses out of town.
yeah, that's
Something you have to take into consideration.
Right, and that's where some research would comes into play to see where there are business privilege taxes in municipalities. Does it benefit the community at the risk of hurting the business community, or what? How's it work? I don't know. So, yeah, we should be open to the conversation, anyways. And it could be whatever we want it to be too. It could be $10 a year, or it could be $1,000 a year. I'm being facetious, but it could be whatever we want it to be. But it should be purposeful, I would imagine. So under municipal budget here, Justin, any movement on the 27 process? So we are past the mid-year point. It's where a lot of municipalities start to get down and dirty with the budgeting process. Have you given any thought to that?
No thought to it.
Okay, I appreciate that honesty. Yeah, yeah. You know, actually, we are attending to some of these things, whether it's not part of the formal process, but yeah. Okay, but it's.
Yeah, well, I'll start drafting up at least something for that.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it without what we currently have this year as well, so.
Our financial data.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So until,
To me, it would be really advantageous to at least map out the structure. Like, we know we have to pass the budget by December 31st. And we know that we have to pass a proposed budget and before we pass the actual budget.
Right.
And so there are milestones here, right? So if we could maybe even calendar those in on specific times, use these work sessions for budget meetings like we did that last year. I thought last year's process was really meaningful, really meaningful. You were very helpful, being in on that. And you know what? We all sat around. That was an amazing process. We all sat around like a community and really bantered around these line items. I thought that was really, really the way to go. So, but we'll have to move on that. Another budget item, I threw this on here because it just came up. The employee health insurance idea. I think we should look into research possibility of health care for our public works crew. Don't know what that looks like. I don't know, what that would turn up, but I really think that we should consider this for the 27 budget. I mean, seriously, if the answer is no, let's understand why it's no. Right? And if there's a possibility to do it, let's see what the range of possibilities are. Because, you could have a Cadillac plan, you could have a, here's your Band-Aid plan.
And I don't think the guys want like the highest, most, they just want something. They deserve something at the end of the day.
I agree.
And along the same lines, I mean, working in school, if we can go in even with another community, it would be cheaper for them and for us, because the more you have in a group, the single plans are gonna be, that small will be astronomical and they won't want it. And we'll be like, well, we're gonna be spending as much as what we're paying on that. But I agree, they need it. But maybe we look into to cut the costs drastically, at least by half, if we go on with another organization.
There are great opportunities like that.
Yeah.
Jason, great opportunities. And a lot of organizations, municipal type organizations, offer these plans. And so let's look into, if you recall, and I'll just, we got to be honest about this. If you recall the last time this came up at the budget a few years ago, then financial chair simply said, go back, check the record, it's public, simply said, we found 2 bids, couldn't afford it, end of discussion. That was it. And I thought, I don't know, there's probably more to it than that. I don't want to recreate that. I think we should be a little more thorough, because I think this really is
I don't know how much it is, but the state offers for municipalities as a healthcare thing.
Right. And I never heard any of this range of options last time this came up in an official way.
I had it in Vanport.
At Vanport, yeah. So good, you can help us maybe.
I don't know nothing about it, I just know of it,
Yeah, well, that's a starting point. Right?
but I had insurance through Vanport.
Or ask anybody that has to buy their own insurance how
I
expensive it
know
is.
Caputo out there on 18, I know they had what they called employee share. and they had put all kind of companies' insurance plans together.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do municipals or not.
Right.
I feel like healthcare these days is cheaper if you don't have insurance. You get the discount. That's screwed up, I know, but
Yeah.
it's the way it's been.
Okay, but this,
I'll figure
Brian,
that.
this is on our radar now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is on our radar. We're gonna deal with this one way or another. Don't know where.
Yeah, I think we had a discussion last year about it too. It's like right at the financial
Yeah, I need
process.
something, because I pay $1,000 a month for my one medication.
Yeah,
Out of pocket.
yeah.
You have insurance.
Yeah,
You have insurance now.
through Michelle,
Find out how much it is if you don't have insurance.
about $5,000.
Okay, so let's move down to financial management records and reporting here. So I got hauled into a meeting with a rep at First National Bank. You know, as president, I had to be there presumably it was about getting Butler Agnew access to our accounts. It really turned out to be, in all honesty, and I said this publicly to the bank manager, it was one of those upsell moments, you know what I mean? Bank product upsell moments, right? But the good thing that came out of it really was, you know, this whole list of recommendations that we could purchase from FNB Bank. There were two things, they were two fraud prevention services that when I ran those by Chad Agnew, he said, oh, highly, highly recommend those things. And so we'll discuss that a little bit later. And so that was a good thing that came out of that. We received our stump final report, you know, from the consultants at the University of Pittsburgh. It is 94 pages long. It is hefty, and it has a lot of stuff to it. There's a link to this in the Monday memo. This is also public, I believe, on the website. And so there is just so much stuff on here. But what Sue and I learned with we had a meeting with George Newsom, who helped us get this together, that because we're in the STAMP program, we are eligible for funding. This was phase one, this study. Phase two is like a whole set of criteria for kind of funding, and there's phase three, and I think there's phase four, right? We're only really eligible for the funding opportunities in these later phases if this report says it is recommended that the borough do such and such. So it really will behoove us to look at this report and see where the recommendations are, because that is basically our opening to some of this state funding, right? And so George gave us a lowdown on some of the stuff that phase two we could be available for. One of the things is IT upgrades for a room like this. So flat screens and sound system and all that, it's possible, right? And I think that is in the recommendations. But there's
Comfortable chairs.
comfortable chairs. Sure.
Well, these are comfortable.
This is this world is really complicated, if you ask me. But you know, that's why George is there to guide us, to help us, you know, thread the needle on this bureaucracy and stuff like that. But I just want to point out that we now do have this report that covers a lot of financial stuff. A lot of financial stuff. As we'll see, something that came out of this report bears on our water and sewage enterprise fund, and in my view, our need to increase our rates, which haven't been raised since 2013. And I'm going to show you a little video here in just a bit about this. We need to find a replacement independent auditor. Turnley Robertson Associates comes highly recommended by Chad Agnew. We did receive an engagement letter from them for 25, 26, 27. This is to do our independent auditing for those years. So we will have to, I think I'm putting the motion out to accept this. And you can see the engagement letter on the Monday memo. You can read it. It's actually cheaper than Butler Agnew was over the next a couple $100 cheaper.
Do you know if we paid anything for Butler to do our 2025 audit already?
We have not
Yeah, we
paid
have
anything
not.
to them yet.
Like not for their new contract, but for existing, because they started the 2025 budget All right, so did we ever get billed for any of that?
No, yeah. Yeah, as far as I know, that contract we've had, and remember, we adopted a 5-year cost savings contract with them. I don't think that's been acted upon at all. So that would basically go away if we go with Turnley here. So I actually did some research on Turnley. These guys are, they handle a lot of municipal stuff. They know what they're doing, highly credible professionals. So I feel good going with them, but that's our call next week, okay?
Did we have any other options? I mean, did we, or was that just the first one that we looked into?
It's the one that Chad recommended. And this is why, I don't want to pull that card like, oh, it's an emergency, we should just go with this, because it's a valid point, right? Chad is just about the point where the an auditor can start on our 25 municipal audit. And why this is really important, like time-wise, as George Newsom told us, we're not available. There's funding that is not available to us until we have our 25 done. So the sooner we get that done, is it the IT stuff we can't get until we get that 25
I have to
done?
look back on my notes.
Yeah, so it behooves us to kind of just move it.
Move it, okay.
But that's a good point. Okay, the status for budget to actuals and our fixed asset stuff, I think is just a placeholder. We will get to this when we start to get the data from Butler Agnew and stuff like that. And under municipal funds management investments here, the Water and Sewage Fund Task Force. Now, I had a Zoom meeting Tuesday night, open to the public. I had one on June 23rd to sort of discuss with the public, the community, what the problem is. And so I had one last night to lay out some proposals for that. And so I'm going to show you this little video right now. And it's a little hokey, and it's AI. I think it's great, actually. But, hey, where are we here? Okay, let me just play this thing.
And financial realities. Welcome to this explainer, breaking down the data and financial realities behind West Mayfield's municipal sewage rate proposals. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Across the country, communities are facing the exact same really difficult balancing act. How do you maintain and upgrade vital aging infrastructure without totally crushing household budgets? If you live in or follow the municipal developments of West Mayfield, you know this is a super pressing topic right now. So today, we're going to look strictly at the numbers, unpack the recent financial findings, and impartially outline all the proposed solutions currently on the table. Here's our roadmap board today. We'll start with current sewage affordability, look at the financial warning signs, map out the proposed rate options, explore some alternative billing structures, and finally outline the next steps for the Borough Council. Let's get right to it. Section 1, current sewage affordability. Let's start by establishing exactly where West Mayfield currently stands compared to its regional neighbors. Right now, residents pay a quarterly base rate of just $40. But actually, here's the real kicker. That $40 doesn't just cover a basic connection to the system. It covers the first 10,000 gallons of usage every single quarter. Additional fees only kick in after a household consumes beyond that really generous 10,000 gallon threshold, which gives residents a significant buffer before they see any variable costs whatsoever. And when we zoom out to a regional scale, West Mayfield is a massive outlier when it comes to affordability. Out of 25 surveyed municipalities in a 2023 comparison, West Mayfield actually boasts the second lowest rate across the board. To put that into perspective, for a household using 15,000 gallons, the total bill in West Mayfield is $57.50. Now compare that to the regional high of North Sewickley Township, coming in at $305.25. That means West Mayfield sits an astounding 81% lower than the regional high. They're undeniably a cost leader in the area, literally saving residents hundreds of dollars a year compared to their neighbors. Section 2, the financial warning signs. However, a recent financial review by the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development did reveal some growing structural challenges beneath those really affordable rates. The root of the issue, well, it really just comes down to simple math. Between 2020 and 2024, the operating expenditures for wastewater treatment grew exactly twice as fast as the revenues collected from sewage payments. So revenues increased by about 2.9% annually, but operating expenditures, they jumped by 5.8% annually. When your costs rise at double the rate of your income, you have a mathematical problem. It's an inflation gap that just compounds year after year. And the compounding result of this inflation gap is a rapidly shrinking safety net. Back in 2020, the sewer fund surplus was a healthy $21,000. But as those daily operating expenditures steadily pulled away from flat, unchanging revenue, that surplus basically evaporated. Year by year, the buffer got thinner and thinner, until by 2024, it dropped all the way down to just $4,461. That is a steep, undeniable decline in financial flexibility for sure. This structural imbalance brings us to the core warning sign from the state's recent financial planning study. The researchers noted that without intervention to close this gap, projections actually suggest increasing operating deficits through 2029. The warning is loud and clear here. This isn't just some theoretical accounting issue. It means the borough will soon be operating in the red, potentially compromising their ability to reliably manage the community's waste and properly maintain the very infrastructure residents rely on every single day. Section 3, proposed rate options. So, to address this mathematical reality and keep up with inflation, the borough has mapped out 3 potential rate options. Rather than just looking at a list of numbers, you can really think of these options as a debate over how aggressively to correct for the past. Option A is essentially the do-nothing approach. It maintains the current status quo of a 0% increase, keeping that $40 base rate. Option B introduces a 30% increase, raising the base rate to $52 and the overuse rate to $4.55. And that specific percentage isn't arbitrary. It's designed exactly to catch up with the inflation that occurred between 2020 and 2026. Finally, option C proposes a 44% increase, bringing the base rate to $57.60. This steeper option is fundamentally about correcting further back in time, calculated to catch up with inflation dating all the way back to 2013. Let's put this into perspective for an average family doing laundry, running the dishwasher, and taking daily showers. We'll look at a household using 15,000 gallons a quarter. Under option B's 30% hike, this household would see their total bill go from $57.50 up to $74.75. So that's a $17.25 quarterly increase. Meanwhile, while option C's 44% jump sounds like a massive hike on paper, in reality, it equates to a $25.30 quarterly increase for this usage bracket. It's a noticeable bump, absolutely, but framing it in actual dollars really helps measure the true impact on a household budget. Section 4, alternative billing structures. Now, beyond these simple percentage increases, the council is also looking at entirely new billing structures inspired by how surrounding municipalities operate. Basically, rather than just tweaking the current price, they could change the entire formula. One alternative is adopting a fixed base rate. This would set a fixed fee per quarter, but reduce or completely eliminate those 10,000 allotted gallons. It ensures guaranteed revenue for the borough regardless of usage. Another option is a fixed use rate. This would actually eliminate the overuse system entirely and instead charge a flat fee for every 1,000 gallons used alongside a fixed quarterly base fee, making billing strictly proportional to your use. And finally, they could consider a conservation model. This keeps the base rate and allotted gallons, but raises overuse fees significantly on anything beyond the base amount. It's a real paradigm shift, right? Moving from simply paying for a service to structurally incentivizing environmental behavior and actively discouraging excess consumption. Section 5, next steps for council. So what's the actual timeline for municipal action on these proposals? Well, because municipal budgets move slowly and require immense public foresight, the council can't just flip a switch to change rates. To ensure proper planning, they must adopt any official sewage rate increase by ordinance no later than October 2026. If passed, the new structure would then take effect in the first quarter of 2027. And remember, no sewage rate increase is official until it's duly adopted by the council and codified by ordinance after a whole period of public review. With the financial realities laid bare, we're talking a shrinking surplus and expenditures consistently outpacing revenues, and multiple distinct options on the table to address inflation. Which path will West Mayfield choose to secure its infrastructure? Do they maintain the status quo, implement incremental percentage increases, or completely restructure their billing model? Ultimately, it all comes down to a fundamental question. Does the community prioritize maintaining its status as a regional affordability leader today, or does it take on the financial burden right now to guarantee its infrastructure for tomorrow? That is the complex choice facing the community. Thanks for checking out this explainer with me today, and I highly... breaking down the data and financial
So we
realities
are a
behind West
regional-
Mayfield's municipal sewage
Cost leader when it comes to our sewers. Okay.
Well, you
Next
can't
time
make
you have a
stuff
movie,
work.
we're gonna need popcorn.
I think North Swickley's the highest in the county right now.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at the, on our Facebook page, I've been posting some stuff and I've been adding, more detail to some of these things, but, where is this? So you can get more detail in here. Just quickly want to show you. So where is it? Maybe it's on the other page. But I will be, definitely when we get into just deciding this stuff, we'll be a little more detailed with this. There was one other option that was not presented there, AI cut it out, was the 56% increase, which actually covers cumulative inflation from 2013 all the way to 2030. Because even if we bring ourselves up to inflation now, then we're gonna be just treading water for the next couple of years. So that actually gives us a little more. But we'll lay it out and we'll see where we go with these specific numbers. But clearly, this is something that, I'm trying to find my little spreadsheet here.
Now, I do have a question with that $40, the bill that we get from, just help me clarify this, the bill we get from Beaver Falls Municipal, the Water Authority, that's built into that or what?
Yeah, and then they send us a check for our cut.
So we get $40 of that cut.
Plus whatever it goes over.
Well, I'm saying, no, give me an example. I know somebody, neighbor, that they use about 7,000 gallons per quarter, or whatever it is. Their bill's $150. So where's that 150? How they get?
That's water and water and.
Water and
sewage.
sewage. Okay, so,
That's all in one bill.
But 40 is the base rate.
Yeah, for 10,000 gallons.
yeah, but they're not using 10,000. Okay, so it should be 40. So what then, another 40 is for the sewage?
The rest of whatever's on the bill is for, that's all
Yeah,
they charge.
They charge per quarter, so that's 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months, that's what I'm saying.
So do they have any fees on top of that or is
Yeah,
that?
No,
it?
we're just talking about sewage. So whatever the water is, it's something that's not our deal. We're just
Right.
looking at our sewage rates that come with the bill, the water bill, because the sewage is actually rated based on the water consumption, right?
Yes.
And so what someone uses, the money that we get in from all the usage, we have to turn around, cut a check to the water company, wastewater company, to pay for the sewer, right? And if you see right here, this blue line, this is our income for the enterprise fund, and this red line is our expenditure. So you can see, this was where we had $20-something thousand, we had a $20,000 surplus in that fund. And over here, it's $4,000. So something happened with the surplus. This is what the report pointed out there. But you can see here, we started a decline in 2018. So from 2018 to now, our revenue has been going downhill. I don't know why that is. I think in part it's because of inflation. Well, that's what the analyst said here. But
People
it's
not
gonna be
paying their
inflation.
bills.
It could be that, it could be, but I think mostly it's inflation, right, keeping up, catching up with us here. So, yeah, so I've been crunching the numbers on, adding a lot of stuff in here and running the math on all this stuff and trying to figure out, what does this mean? And here's our surplus here, by the way. And so, any money that we have in that fund, after we write that check to Aqua, is money that we could use, because it's a restricted fund. We have to use it for our sewer maintenance and repairs and stuff like that. Well, in 2020, we had $20,000. Now that's 24, we had just 4,000.
That's because we did a lot of pipelining.
No, this is irrespective of anything that we actually did. This is just what we had after we paid our wastewater bill. So what this says is, and there's some citizens who are making that same argument. We're not spending wisely. We're foolishly, we're not doing repairs cost effectively, whatever. This equation here, or this calculus, I should say, is not about anything we spent money on. This is about the money that we have available to spend money on. And as you can see, we're losing that capacity here in our surplus down this line down here. You can see the trend line here. we're losing the capacity to spend money on anything else. So the sewer money, the projects that we have done on sewers, that's coming out of our general fund. It's coming out of our taxpayer-funded general fund. We should not be doing that. We should be getting enough money into by the ratepayers to pay for it. Now, in the real world, right, yeah, we're not gonna pay for everything out of this fund. We're gonna have to subsidize it. But man, we should have more than this. There's something wrong here, and what is wrong is that our inflation has killed us, so we have to raise our rates. To bring this blue line back up, and it's gotta start trending back up for us to have a healthy enterprise fund in the future. So, I know it's complicated, and it's, makes your eyes glaze over and cross, when you get into this stuff, but it is just something real that we're gonna have to deal with, and so I've been trying to work on this and educating the public as we go, and doing the research, so, we're not shooting from the hip, that if whatever we do, it's gonna be based on numbers, the data. So.
Can we get a relationship between what we're getting back or what we're paying Beaver Falls? Because I'm saying the elderly people I'm talking to, their concern is they're on a fixed income. They're paying $150 and they use $7,000 in a quarter. Okay, that $40 that we're charging, so you're saying then Beaver Falls is charging $110 on top of that?
You're talking water, not Beaver Falls.
Yeah,
You're talking municipal.
Municipal,
We have nothing to do with water.
But what I'm saying, you're saying this is
This is sewage.
just a sewage, okay, but then how do you know, so there's a meter on everybody's, what's it based
It's your
on?
water, whatever your water
What
usage is,
usage
is how they bill you.
That's what I'm saying.
Tell them to use another 3,000 gallons and maybe they'll feel better.
No, what I'm saying, they're on a fixed income, they're gonna ask,
So
how are you
How many
calculating?
gallons did they use?
They use 7,000 gallons.
Well, that's under the 10,000, so their sewer bill should only be $40
For 3 months.
Yeah.
per quarter.
No, they're paying $150.
That's water.
That's water and sewage.
Take $40 out of their bill and
Okay.
then whatever's left is their water bill.
Plus fees, whatever they have on top.
And if you look at what Beaver Falls has been going up and up and up and on their water as well as their sewage stuff here. This, it's in our house.
Yeah, but I don't know, I mean.
This right here are the sewage rates. This is 25, this is where the data was pulled from right here, just to show you.
$40.
Top, North Swickley, Big Beaver, $217 a quarter for water, right? We're way down here at, actually, East Rochester, I think, Rochester Township is actually lower. But you can see where we are down here in relation to these other 25, right? So look how they're structured. $15 for the first 1,000. 1/3 do not have any base gallon allotment, 0. 1/3 of this group, they don't have you get so many gallons for your base fee.
They
It's
pay
0.
per gallon.
It's just like, here's your base fee, everyone's gonna pay a base amount, and then you pay $5 for 1,000, or you pay $6.50 per 1,000, or you pay $10 for 1,000. Chippewa pays $3.16 per 1,000. So
I don't see a problem raising that $40 up, $17. I mean, how many people are actually gonna notice that?
That's all it is.
$17 in 3 months.
We discussed that already last time.
Well, here's if you see right here, I know it's a little bit hard to see, guys. So this is what you couldn't see in that data. Let me increase the size here. So here's the 56% increase right here. This is for the 15,000 gallon. It would be $89 a quarter, and that would be a $32 increase over what it is now if we went to the 56% increase. And that per quarter. It's $32 more per quarter, $128 per year, right? And so this is. I'm trying to make this a little bit smaller for you. So this is
The only people that are gonna get whacked are the people that use a lot of water.
Yeah, sure.
And part of the issue that we
And
have
that's what they're trying to do, get them to quit using so much water.
That's a conservation model, right?
Right.
That we don't have that now, but we could look into that, right? And and encourage conservation. So we could have a split, right? We could say 30% for your base and a 44% increase for your overuse. Or a 30% for your base and a 56% increase for your overuse to encourage conservation. So we still need to sort of figure it out, but I think.
I don't think I'd go that extreme yet. If we're gonna raise the base fee, I don't see the need to raise too much on the other.
The base fee benefits small households, or benefits the borough if there's more small households. So like Chippewa has larger houses, so they're gonna use more water, so that base fee actually doesn't help Chippewa, right? So the West Mayfield actually makes more money because we have smaller households by having a base fee, because they're not gonna use that water, right? The revenue is my concern right now, is like, I don't understand how revenue doesn't get affected by inflation at all. So like your chart with the revenue being broken down to like half of what we were gaining is kind of weird to me to see. Like the margins, inflation affects that, but not revenue. Revenue should technically borderline increase, right?
Yeah, that line, those lines.
Yeah, like that 5,000, right, or like, where's the revenue from? Yeah, okay, so yeah, the revenue decreasing, that's completely odd to me.
Yeah, are we getting more houses or fewer houses in the borough? It's confusing to me, but yeah, I don't understand why that is either, honestly. But these numbers, by the way, are sourced from the municipal audits themselves. And the municipal audit data is, I presume, is coming right out of, the financials that are from Beaver Falls Water Authority. I'm assuming they're correct. But
And if that is correct, that shows that less people are using water.
yeah,
A
Yeah.
lot less people.
yeah. Do we have a housing deficit? Did housing just disappear in the borough?
Or are people not paying their water bill?
Are people, like that many people?
Yeah, but then he shut it off.
But if we have that base rate,
I know. I
we're
pay
still
mine.
building that as sewage no matter what, right? So that shouldn't affect anything unless it's over, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that most houses in West Mayfield are using 10,000 gallons.
And to have a drop that big, they steadily just keep, hammering down that.
You got 10 bills.
It doesn't.
I didn't know.
This is what the data shows. So anyways, we still have some work to do, guys.
That's what I'm saying, no.
Kind of
Yeah, but
flat.
that doesn't change that much.
It should never go.
Well, no, he's just saying it is, like if you had a landlord.
No,
Like
you're saying,
it's always going to stay.
you don't go from having 6 houses to pay their own.
Yeah, inflation does absolutely nothing.
Okay, guys, let's bring this back here. The numbers we will crunch, we will continue to crunch and figure this out here. But I do want to let you know that this is on the radar. We are working on this, through the task force. Anybody who wants to be involved, great. The next thing here I want to point out is the Pliget. Where am I going here with this? Is our Pliget. We still, we passed a resolution to sweep our monies into our Pliget investment fund. So as soon as we get our financial stuff squared away with Butler Agnew, then we'll be able to move on that. So that's happening there. Any questions, Justin? Anything else you want to add to budget and finance? I know it's a quick run through this.
No. The only thing would be like the fixed asset list. We are working on that. Pulled what the insurance was. There's like building stuff too. So just so that everybody knows that that's on the radar as well. But
Yeah.
so.
I spoke to Greg Cunningham from H.A. Thompson today. He was here on July 28th. So we'll be getting that report as well soon for buildings in the borough and everything as well. I spoke to him actually right before I came here.
Okay. All right. Culture and Rec, let's move on to you, Jason, here. How's your budget doing? I know you guys have been
Spent just a
spending money.
little, not much, no, we had a donation, so I'm gonna turn this over to Kathy. Go ahead.
I did, I
Yep.
have a bill for tablecloths that comes out of your money
Yep,
for July and a little bit out of August.
that's fine. And I told you, yeah, and that was
Yeah.
approved already, yeah, good.
Yeah.
And she's an attorney, knows, and Jen.
Okay, so you're getting, so you guys are coordinating that, okay, good, good. So under policies and procedures here, these are things that we've been discussing and we eventually need to move on. So the park rules, we sent that list to the solicitor, he said we could do this by resolution. Will we have a resolution ready for next week to adopt the park rules?
To be honest, I don't know, because wasn't gonna be here today, but,
I'd be happy to help you write that. Or, to get this going, moving. Okay. The other thing here is a policy resolution on the community park memorials. We discussed this for a few months. I think we all landed on the same page that it would be good for us to have some sort of policy so we're all in agreement with how, so we don't get overrun by the memorials or some sort of control over that. So we're going to need a policy resolution at some point. A resolution, which is really a policy statement. And then the other thing is we talked about a park shelter rental concession SOP. And I had sent you a sort of a draft starter.
Yes.
Where are we on that?
okay, going back to 2, on that community park, the memorial, I thought we discussed that they would just bring it to council as per.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We
so
discussed
why-
that, but that needs to be, we need
We
to
did a
have that.
resolution.
Well, we already, that's what I'm
We
saying.
need to
were
have
just
it in
gonna-
writing.
Well, I thought
It's
we already
good.
agreed on what we were gonna do. That's
No.
why I didn't think that we had to go any
No,
further.
we talked about it, but we have to have it in writing. So we're all on the same page, so it actually is a policy of the borough, because what happens when you're not here, I'm not here, 5 years, 10 years from now, just like we go back and look at all these resolutions that were passed by previous councils, right? This is guidance for us, right? So we need to have this resolution as guidance.
So just basically something written that saying that has to be approved by council.
Yeah, just write up what this, what the guidelines are there for the community park memorials. I think, Justin, you offered to sort of help on this last meeting. I know you guys had a discussion about what that would look like
For,
a community park memorials write-up, like a policy.
yeah,
Yeah,
I can write something up.
okay.
Yeah, I met with Ole Astro down there again, and we went over some stuff. He's gonna get us something together for the next time a grant comes around.
Okay.
I set it up to fix the pickleball court and to put in swings for disabled.
Okay.
No, we need that.
So the SOP for a park shelter, look, I would really encourage you guys who do it, you're in on it, I'm in on it, to weigh in on this SOP so that, we can,
Was the SOP, is there a draft of it, or has anything been sent to me or Aunt Nora for us to even,
yeah, there's an SOP.
have you seen anything for the rental concession?
Not lately,
Yeah, I haven't seen anything lately.
Here, this is what I sent. It looks like this. All right, it covers roles and responsibilities, procedures, safety compliance, yada, yada. So if you come down here, for example, under council provides the oversight, general administration, what you would do, you're responsible for providing administrative support.
Okay, can you just send this to me and her so we can look at it and do what we need to do? And then we can move on from
Sure,
this?
absolutely. Yeah, if you're actually an editor on this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so you did get a notice of this.
okay.
But I know it sometimes. So you can see how this works, right? Rental. So here's online reservation request. What happens? I get the thing, I forward it on, yeah, okay?
Yep.
So that's what we need to have done. Okay. And then we also have this event checklist that we had talked about. So that's an SOP. When we have events, what is that checklist? For first aid kits, we had this training, AEDs. We're gonna be working on getting AEDs, right? So who's bringing the AED to the party, right? Because you know how to do it now. So you're gonna be in charge. We're gonna strap it on
So does
you.
everybody else in here that came.
That's right. So, but we need a checklist.
You're the leader.
I'll make sure that they're doing it right.
Okay, so you'll supervise, yeah. So a volunteer list, a first aid preparedness, whatever else goes in this checklist, I don't know, you guys figure it out. You guys who do these events most, but we really need, and so here's a quiz for you. Why is it important to have a volunteer list?
Because it's covered by insurance.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. If one of you is not on the volunteer list, it's gonna be hard for us to get you covered with our insurance if something should happen. So we need this list here. This is a standard operating procedure. And if you remember, those of you who weren't here last year, beginning of last year, when Citizen Kevin noticed we have no policies and procedures to guide us on anything here, right? And we should do that. And council passed the idea of a handbook where we put stuff like this in there. So, you're new on council. How do I do culture and rec? You should be able to open this damn book and see, oh, here's how park shelter rentals work, whatever. So this is, forward-thinking stuff. So let's get on with it, right? Let's start writing this stuff, get it in place. Park shelter rental concession, any issues going on with this? We smooth sailing?
I think
The one thing I was looking up,
Once we get the padlocks all the same, it's gonna be a lot easier, less keys.
Yeah.
Brian's working on that.
Brian already ordered them, so we're just waiting on them to come in from.
and I
Craig.
noticed with cleaning up, and this would go under the SOP too, in between the two rentals, if they leave trash in the bins,
Well, what I do is.
I just throw it out. I mean, I'm not gonna keep someone's deposit.
Well, you mean in the blue ones, sometimes
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
go down and just have a McDonald's and a couple drinks and I just put the garbage can over top of it. And then Gerald usually dumps out the
Okay.
dumpster on
Yeah.
Friday now.
okay.
Okay. But it's generally going okay for
That's
you,
good, yeah.
for you
So
guys?
far, so good.
Okay, good.
Well, wait a second.
Okay.
I think there needs to be a list of things that get checked off every time you guys go down there and check those shelters after a rental. Nora had a sweeper down there that's gone.
Yeah, it was a used one, but I had it in the lady.
No, it doesn't matter, where'd it go?
Yeah, and it was like, I didn't even notice it till the last time I went down there. It's like, oh, that sweeper's not in the ladies' room now.
That's SOP
Yeah.
item.
That's-
Right,
Needs
yeah.
to be on
Okay.
there.
A checklist of what
Yeah,
we
right.
have in there.
Guys, I can't stress enough how important it is, this administrative stuff.
Yeah,
You don't think it's important until it comes back to get you. And this is nothing compared to the legal risk, the legal jeopardy that we're in right now because we don't have policies and procedures. I'm talking about code enforcement, right? We'll get to that. We got to deal with some of this stuff, right, as soon as possible.
I have a question.
And we will, and we are.
She has a
Yeah.
question.
I have a question on the park rental. So when they rent, I know you go down and open it up. So when they leave, are you there when they leave so you can check to see if anything's broken?
well, no, what I
That's-
tell them now, it's like, if they rent the kitchen shelter and the Jubilee shelter, I tell them you have to put your garbage in the dumpster. And number two, when you are done, you have to lock the bathroom doors and you have to lock the roll down things and the shelter door because you're responsible.
Right,
For
but
that.
what if in the process of them using the kitchen, something was broken, that they
Well,
broke something? How
That's
do
the
you-
thing, once the door's locked, I go down there and check it afterwards. And I
But-
turn
but
off the
they're not-
lights.
They're not there for you to say, whoa, this is broken now.
But some
That
people-
afterwards, if they're
Yeah.
gone, they could say, well, somebody else came in.
Well, they locked the door.
I know, but they could say.
Except
your
for a
employees
couple of
came
weeks
in.
ago.
Both days,
We went
well, yeah,
by
both
and
days they were
everything was
open,
wide
yep.
open.
They left them
There
wide
wasn't
open.
anybody down there.
Yep.
I'll see, because I go
Windows
down.
were up on the
See, I went down.
kitchen shelter,
I had to
doors
go
were
downstairs.
unlocked,
That's the weekend I
bathroom
was
was on.
John told me that.
Yeah, and that was at
Nobody
like 2
there.
o'clock in the afternoon, I believe, or 7 o'clock at night you called me. It was like an hour before.
Wow.
And I went
That
down,
window was.
it was open, I was like, so I went down, locked everything up, that was that
That's what I
weekend
did,
again.
Wow.
We can solve.
I usually go down
For
at
sure.
8, but I tell them, you're responsible, lock the doors. Lock the bathroom doors, lock the shelter.
Yeah, the weekend you had it, both days I checked, everything was open,
So if
everything was
they
on.
opened it, they should have closed it. Not.
What kind of vacuum got stolen? Because I probably have one to replace.
Oh,
No, seriously.
no, it was just
Like
an
a
old
regular-
sharp vacuum.
Okay, perfect.
Justin, you live in a warehouse?
Sort of.
Nice.
What's
You
nice
say that all
about
the
that, I
time.
use it basically for cobwebs and stuff.
Maybe shop vac, do you prefer? You tell me which one you prefer, I have.
Maybe your fencing, goods
You a catalog?
here. Yeah.
Nice.
Anybody need tools?
Very nice.
Okay, you guys, continue to work on this SOP project and discuss amongst yourselves. The discussions are invaluable. Outside of these meetings, they have to take place to get this stuff moving, and that is great. So, let's move on here to the youth baseball concession. We talked about this at a couple meetings, that contractually, we need a monthly report from youth baseball. Do we have anything?
Not so far, so I'm sending them right now.
Okay.
Just that I need it by before Monday, so you put it on.
Okay, if you give me a report, I'll put it in a Monday memo, okay? I don't want to do that report at the business meeting because it's not appropriate. That's appropriate for this, because it's a report. But if you can get it in writing, I'll put it in a Monday memo, we'll memorialize it, I'll put it in the municipal records archive where I'm putting all this stuff, okay? And we'll be good to go, okay?
Maybe ask them what they're doing with that carpeting down there.
Yeah,
Someone was supposed to take it. They said someone was gonna take, that 2 rolls got taken, they said there were 3 rolls, 2 got taken, and the third one, they were supposed to dispose of it. If, so
Yeah, I
someone's gotta
asked
come
them
get
a
it.
few weeks ago. Yeah, we'll get it moved.
Yeah, they told me the same thing.
Will you ask them where my banners are?
What banners?
The banners that were on our big chain link fence that broke.
Is there someone?
The
Gave
long
all them to
banners.
that, your neighbor or something, whoever they went to.
My neighbor?
Yeah.
Oh,
When you,
Yeah,
when they took all the banners down there to
that would be, Amber and, Zach. What's their, Durham,
Pasqua.
Pasquale. Yeah, her last name's Pasquale, his last name's Durham. They never got married. No.
I need.
okay, so.
Maybe he took her name.
So it's really important, we learned this from past experience, it's really important for us to, one, be mindful of the concession contract that we have, but also just, this is a touchstone to see how this program is going, to see if we need anything, if they need anything from us, vice versa, whatever. So let's continue to move that forward. I want to touch upon our events here. Now, we did cancel our August 8th thing, the community picnic movie night. That, everyone agreed that that would be canceled, so that's off the chart here. So I just want to touch base here. We did have our first really event in our community room, which was our CPR first aid training, offered by Beaver Falls Fire Department. I thought that was wonderful. Exhausted me doing that, staying alive for 2 minutes. That was tough. That was a wonderful experience that we had here for volunteers who show up at the events.
He did say he would do it again, just contact him and
Yes.
he'll whenever.
For the community even,
Yes.
yeah. So I just wanted to touch base. That was one wonderful culture and recreation experience we had. Car cruise coming up on August 15th. You guys have everything you need for that?
We're good.
Good, okay, that's good. We have trunk or treat coming up down the hollow, October 17th. That'll probably be here before we know it. And then we have our holiday party, the 12th of December.
Do we have that confirmed for the 12th of December? With the
space.
With the school? No, not yet, but I'll get on it, yeah. That's good.
That was the date that was penciled in, I guess.
That was penciled in, we looked at the 4 Saturdays. That's a good Saturday.
And we don't have a date yet for the fire truck Santa. We do have monies allotted, budgeted for that. I guess whoever needs to coordinate that with the fire department, the date, getting the candy, however that works out. But those, to me, that is my recollection, you correct me if I'm wrong, these are all the events that we have for the remainder of the year. Okay? The community room here, wow, this carpeting, we're getting a lot of wonderful feedback on the carpeting. Some citizens complaining that we're paying for carpeting when we should be fixing sewers.
And something else that you want to hear.
What?
Who complained about it?
The typical place. Now you can see it on Facebook. Yeah. Okay, what's going on?
Stop spending
She
money on
wants me to
carpet.
tell everybody that
Do
Bill
something.
Eaton
They were
was going
bitching.
around trying to get people to sign a petition for us to have Chippewa cover our fire and
EMS.
police and all that stuff,
Oh,
because
okay.
our situation is really, really bad. So we don't need, we want people to change and go over to Chippewa instead of go to Beaver Falls.
Well, okay, so we're a little bit out of order.
That's what she raised.
Well, I-
She did.
But it is something
Fire,
that
fire,
we will
police.
probably get around to discussing at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. So the carpeting, we're gonna get tables in here, those tables are coming. The old conference table, which is over there, I guess we need to figure out what to do with that. That's the status on those things. I do want to say that we will make a formal thank you to your son and the company and all that, so that's not lost, right? But we do have this carpeting down, which is wonderful. And you have something to say about this carpeting.
I do. If you guys don't start keeping it clean, you're not gonna be allowed in here. Simple as that.
I didn't bring any dirt in.
We need a rug.
Out
Yeah, I
there.
know we do. I know we do. We didn't need big brown chairs brought back in. We didn't need all that crap.
I do.
Here's the issue.
I understand that.
The ideal situation in this room would have been to tear up the concrete, re-pour it, and lay the carpet. They did what they could do with what you had existing. Someone at some point patched in concrete on top of concrete at that door. So that's why there was a hump. They tried to level that out as best they could.
I think
There
it's
were-
great.
There were serious cracks. Nora has video of what was down there. They filled it in. They put a sealer down. They put 2 coats of sealer down before they put the carpet down, and then they put down a layer of glue. They put it down so that it stays down. They didn't do it any different than they would have done in a commercial building. So their hope is that it stays put. But if we don't take care of it the way we should take care of it, it's not going to.
Okay.
So that's my feeling on this, stuck my neck out, he did too. We need to take care of it.
What happened to the rug we had here?
Shoes off.
We don't want that dirty, filthy red rug that nobody ever
Okay, so
cleaned.
we need to
I'm going
order
to
a
Home
new.
Depot and I will get 2 gray rugs for either one of
Okay,
these
good.
doorways.
She wipe her feet.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, now we're gonna discuss the tables that I asked for. Bob?
Well, these are mine.
I know.
These are temporary.
But we talked about this.
I just need to know how many
I told
tables we
you
needed.
how many we needed.
Yeah, well,
told
you
me
said 5, but I'm donating those 2 tables to the office.
This just happened. But you told me 2 weeks ago that you were gonna order black tables and they would be in on the 7th and that they were 8 feet long.
No, I
Yes, you
said
did.
we won't have them before the meeting.
You said the 7th, exactly.
What's today?
The fifth,
There you go.
fifth.
Well, you told me they'd be in on the 7th. You never told me you didn't order them. I heard that today.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so-
I want to bring it to, because I told Kevin they were going to be 80 or 90 bucks a piece. Now I find out they're they're a little over 100 a piece. And I figured I'm donating those tables to the office, so we don't need 5 tables now. I want to order what we actually need.
Okay, so what do you?
That's why I didn't order them
How
yet.
big are they?
They're,
8 foot?
There.
6 foot?
I was going to order the 8
8
footers,
footers.
but I don't know. We need to decide exactly what we need.
We need 4 8-foot tables. Everybody listening? 4 8-foot tables and 1 round one that Kevin wants.
There you
That's
go.
what we need.
So
There you
we're
go.
going to get 4 8-foots and 1 round one.
So it's really not necessary if it's black, because I heard you say you wanted tablecloths, right?
What?
The tables you have are
What's the
10 feet
tablecloths
right
for?
here.
These are
Wow.
8s.
These are
Are those
So
8s?
what?
For the 8-foot tables.
I brought them over because I didn't order the other ones because I want to make sure I wanted to have tables in here and see exactly what we need.
Well,
We're
it's
good.
not
So we're
necessary, you gotta
good.
get black.
We're good, you have the marching orders? You
Yep.
gave the marching orders, received?
I think we should have black in case they don't have covers on
Right
them
here.
and somebody's magic markering something and next thing you know, you got white tables with different color magic marker all over.
Magic eraser takes it off.
Any objections to black?
Somebody tell me what color tables to order.
Any objections to black?
Order 4 8-foot black tables and 1 round table, and
Okay.
let's move on.
Perfect.
How big's the round table?
Done.
Okay, there we go.
What's the round
So that-
How big's the round table? What's,
I think they're usually 5 foot.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's a conference
Sound
table
like a
for
dinner.
Is that what you want, baby? Yeah.
What, five?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are getting folding tables like what you have?
No,
for
no.
Like nice tables?
Yes, like these.
Oh, no, that's a folding table.
Okay,
Okay.
let's move on from the
Yeah,
table.
Folding legs.
Yeah.
but
I want to
not
mention
folding
this because this is actually a serious thing for this room, and it's going to take some thought, maybe working with George Newsom at DCD for funding. A bathroom upgrade, ADA compliance for the bathroom. That is something that I'm assuming we want to do, and it's something that we can pursue. George says we can look into that, go down that road, but we need a plan. So here we go. We're going to make this happen.
Okay, so then we're gonna need to use that office probably, because those bathrooms are not big enough for ADA.
Well, we'll have to figure that out. Yeah,
And you better figure on budgeting 15 to 20,000.
we'll figure that out, and then we'll look into the funding opportunities and stuff like that. It's a process, right, guys? So, but I think what I think we should wrap our heads around is this idea that this is what we want to do, and I really think we need to do it, right?
What-
This is a
what was
public
that?
space,
Fix the bathrooms.
ADA compliant bathrooms here. I think we really need to do what we can do here in that area.
We're only gonna have room for one, maybe
Who's
if we
Ada?
take.
Yeah, maybe.
Why do we have to be compliant to her?
Yeah.
Just do one.
Because she's
I-
complaining.
Just do
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, maybe not a
Because
unisex
you have that
perhaps.
middle.
You could do that.
You have that
Sure.
middle.
That's what we're gonna have to do
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But it's on our radar, I think. If we can have a consensus that this is where we want to go, then we'll move in that direction. Okay, that concludes our.
No, it doesn't. I have one other,
No, it doesn't.
one other carpeting issue. I know you're saying that this was all free. Well, they had to get a little bit of supplies. So actually, we owe Mark $211.39.
Okay,
I
That's
have
fine.
receipts for everything they bought.
$14,000 worth of carpet.
Yeah, it was really expensive.
all right,
You need to pay for labor, you need to pay yearly.
okay.
Labor and installation.
Should make sure that Jenna
I
gets
have them
that.
here.
Okay, and we'll have to get that out of the budget or code it properly and, okay. All right, good. All right, let's move on to general administration here. This is a big area for us. We're not really spending anything on the budget, I guess. One of the things I just wanted to bring up under operations and stuff, in one of the trainings I went to, there was a recommendation that we have a fire-resistant filing cabinet for our municipal records. I looked into them, they are expensive. And I don't know, I mean, I'm just throwing it on here as a recommendation. $4,000, $5,000, $6,000.
How much new stuff is scanned?
Pardon?
I said, how much new stuff is actual physical?
Yeah, that's a good question. But we have other stuff we might want to put in there, like hard drives and, you know what I mean? So we're gonna try to digitize as much as we can, keep it off-site, duplicate things, whatever. But having a fire-resistant filing cabinet was something I never thought about until I went to the training. And I said, oh yeah, if you have a location like a municipal building and you have records that, for example, need to be kept forever, and they're replaceable or whatever, you should consider this. So this is a discussion just to get it on our radar, you know. And I think this is probably something that's gonna get kicked down the road.
How much did you say, Kevin?
They could be anywhere from, like, you know, I mean, it depends on your size, you know, like $6,000-8,000.
I can get you a fire-resistant sea container for a lot cheaper than that you can park over there.
Really,
$2,000.
yeah.
You can put a lot of stuff in that. You can fill it up, Kevin.
Right. Climate, I mean, having something in office here would be climate, conducive to
I
climate
don't think people
control.
really cares too much about that. That sea container will protect it.
Send me some specs on that, will you?
I will.
I'm curious about that,
That
yeah.
might be a good idea.
Yeah, it might be.
This is what I
And,
kind of have.
and two, I mean, it sounds like,
I like that.
it sounds like it fits in that idea that, the old adage that you should have multiple copies in multiple locations. So having something, if this building catches on fire, if it's outside,
Out there.
might be worth having something.
20-foot sea container, $2,000,
Okay.
brand new.
Okay, well, let's, send me the specs, I'm curious.
Or fire
Okay,
blanket.
this next item here is, I talked to Justin today about this. So asset inventory, this comes back to fixed assets and stuff. We really do need to get a asset management program in place. What are our assets? Everything we own are assets, right? The trucks, these tables, that flag, it's all part of our assets, right? Some are obviously more expensive than others, some are insured, some are not. All that stuff that's in, your world back there, Brian, all the tools and equipment stuff, all assets. Do we know what we have, right? So the question is, we do need to do some sort of asset management program. The question is, can we do this ourselves, or should we outsource this? We should not. I mean, head shaking.
No, you gotta pay a lot of money.
Because there are companies that do this.
Yeah, no.
We should not.
Ourselves.
Okay, can we do it? Who's gonna do it? You gonna do it?
Sure. You gonna pay me? No, my thing is outsourcing everything, like, I understand, like, but we're just a small borough. Everything doesn't need to be outsourced and spend tons of money on when we could be like, hey, Brian, you want some Saturday hours? Come in on a Saturday and
Make a list.
make a list,
Great.
you know?
Write
I
down
mean,
everything you have.
Great.
yeah, it doesn't
Great.
need to be.
If we can get that done like that.
Do that on a rainy day.
If we can get our,
Yeah,
if
on
we
a
can get
rainy
our goals accomplished
Yeah.
for in the most cost-effective way, in-house, sure, why not, right?
Yeah.
But I came across this outsourcing stuff and looked into it a little bit. Yeah, it is expensive and it's a whole big thing. They bring all the bells and whistles, right? The asset tags, Justin, you mentioned that kind of stuff. Full-on computer program set up, So anyways, I just wanted to put it on here that we do need to get a handle on this stuff, whether we do it in-house or we outsource it. Yeah, let's continue that
My
discussion.
nephews work for a company that does that. They travel the United States and they get paid well, so I know it's not gonna be cheap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a big thing, yeah. Okay, under policies and procedures, I mentioned the stamp final report. There are tons of general administration type recommendations in there. For example, having our HR documentation in place, having job descriptions, having our assets under some sort of management program. Tons and tons of stuff there that we'll be looking at that document to sort of figure out how we can create policies and procedures that actually help us moving forward. Under contracts and agreements here, the police contract review negotiations, our contract is up at the end of the year, so we have between now and then to figure this out. I think we all agree we don't want to do what typically has happened in the past in December, right? We're under the gun and we're trying to figure this out. So, Sue, we've had many conversations about, getting this ball going, and Justin, you're interested in this kind of work too, because it involves finances and stuff. So that's on our radar, as well as our PennDOT agility program. If you were wondering what happened to that, we signed that, and we had a resolution, we signed that, we sent that off, and it was beautiful. And then I got a kickback that said, hey, we need ink signatures, because Harrisburg lawyers don't accept typical, digital. They needed ink, and so we got ink, but we didn't sign page 2. So I got kicked back again. So Jenna has page 2 and the last thing all inked up now. Like literally, we had to sign it for it to be
This is
legit.
costing us a lot in postage.
Yeah, bureaucracy.
And it takes forever.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we are with that contract agreement, but we're moving forward with that. Municipal reporting, we're working on the backlog of the council meeting minutes. I believe we are going to have next meeting 9 minutes that we should review and approve, which should be great. You'll see those in the Monday memo and stuff like that. Our other reporting, municipal, state, federal reporting is coming along. You're doing a great job. That stuff is crazy tedious.
That should be the last of the meeting minutes, I believe, too. Right?
Yeah, that's right. We will have them all. In fact, one of the citizens actually called us out on not having our meeting minutes. So, okay, we'll take care of that. So we are banging out our municipal states. We got a lot of work to do. There's some stuff, John, we reached out to DP and said, help us.
Yep.
We haven't heard back.
Nope,
And so,
they don't know anything.
and so I've been in contact with other state reps, people at PennDOT, very helpful, DCD, super helpful. We're on it, we're getting there. It's gonna happen, it is happening, right? So, okay, we're getting there. Jenna, we have the annual Agency Open Records Officer Activity Report due. Okay, can you get that? And if, basically, let us know what's been going on in that area. Have we received any right-to-know requests, the dispensation on those? Okay,
Yep.
and then, we'll check that off the list. And if you, why this is important, if you've been paying attention to what's going on at Big Beaver, their council just said they are spending $7,000 to handle right-to-know requests over all this data center stuff. And they actually had to hire a lawyer to handle the right-to-know requests. Could it happen here? Sure. Just, we haven't been, we haven't,
Are you
nobody's
getting that?
sent that stuff to us.
With request, okay.
But this is legal stuff, and they're finding out that there's some weird stuff going on with the right-to-know requests, whatever. So all this stuff needs to be handled appropriately according to the Sunshine Act, right-to-know law, all that sort of stuff. So let's stay on top of that. This report will help us stay on top of that. And the general administration asset inventory. This is something that we need to know from you. What do we own in the world of general administration? Computer, what do you have at home that belongs to us?
A computer and a printer.
You have a computer and a
And a
printer?
typewriter.
And a typewriter. Like a real
A
typewriter?
literal typewriter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
And we have, I was moving stuff around before the meeting. We've got like 4 printers back there and there's a computer. What? I don't even know. But we need to really, so if you could get this asset inventory, or could outsource it.
No.
Right? You do it? You can handle
I
it?
can handle it.
Okay, can you have it done by this month?
I plan to, yes.
Good, okay, great.
Did you put the example of the asset list that I sent you on the memo?
You just sent it to me.
Well, if
Yes, I think I
you
did.
put that on there, then you can use that and just add it to that, and
Okay.
you'll see like serial numbers and stuff like that. All right, don't ignore the asset tag.
If you need help counting the staples, look.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good model. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Human resources, right? This is an area that we have, as a municipality, we have not paid a lot of attention to in the past, but we are employers. And as employers, we have to follow certain employment laws. We have to follow certain employment safeguards of our employees. We have to keep records in a certain way. As employers, we're susceptible to any sort of complaints that employees might want to make against us. We can be taken to court if we violate employment law. So human resources is now a section here that we're going to be paying attention to. So one of the things that we're going to get our ducks in a row around is fidelity bonding for our code enforcement officer and our planning and zoning officer, who are working with the public. They're making decisions about things that should require us to have some sort of indemnification around. So where are we on the bonding, Jenna?
I actually, I got everything notarized and emailed over to Sally, so we're just waiting on it to get approved.
Okay, good. Thank you for taking care of that. So we have now 4 employees that are bonded. Well, 4 officials. Kathy, you're bonded. Jenna, you're bonded. And now Bob and Tina will be bonded as our code and planning folks. Okay. The third-party code enforcement officer, I've been in conversations with Mark Stowe. He is reaching out to some folks for this position here. It looks very favorable. So that is still happening, Professional training, development and training. This is an area that I think we need to take really, really seriously. What it is that our employees know, should know, must know to do their jobs appropriately, that's on us. That's on us as employers to make sure that the people we hire have the skill set, they have the professional knowledge to do what is required. Or else you can imagine what's going to happen if that doesn't. They don't, right? If we hire a public works person who doesn't know how to do stuff, could kill themselves or somebody else, right? So our handbook is one of those things that is in that realm of professional development and training. Jenna, Justin and I are working with Jenna to provide Jenna with the sort of tools that she needs to be more knowledgeable about borough secretary stuff. And we have a big list, don't we, of stuff to review. And this is really important stuff. And we are about to do a similar program with code enforcement and planning and zoning officer. This is all, none of this is heavy lift stuff. It's like watching some videos, attending some trainings if you can, that sort of stuff. But what I was told by a code enforcement officer in one of the trainings I went to is, if you go to court, if you're hauled into court, or you go to court hauling somebody into court, and if a lawyer very well may ask you, and a judge may ask you, are you qualified to be a code enforcement officer? What qualifies you? Do you have training? Do you have the knowledge base here to do your job? And if you don't, you can't answer that. Or if we as employers can't provide that evidence in a lawsuit, case dismissed, right? Or maybe even legal jeopardy, legal risk, I should say. So this is serious stuff, and I think we're going to move forward on this stuff as employers to make sure that all of our employees have the necessary awareness and training here. And I actually have the next thing here. I have this checklist spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets, but I have this spreadsheet I developed that just really lays it out across the board. I just put our CPR, well, you gave me the list of who was on CPR, the training. I'm going to add that. So we will know, and I have our volunteers on this list too. So we'll go right across the board. You took the CPR training, you took the training for secretaries, right? I don't know what you've done so far, but it's in there. Even our oaths of office, we filed those, all that sort of stuff. Eli Kazanovich, he actually has some state mandated credentials he has to have in place. I don't know if I've never seen any evidence, put it this way. I've never seen the documentation that validates those credentials that he should have had in place to have that position. And then there is ongoing, so he is supposedly to take training by the Beaver County EMA every year, like 2 quarters of training. That's never been documented from my knowledge.
Well, they have all they keep it.
He wrote the book.
Yes. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, but we're his employer. We are responsible for emergency management. This is our responsibility, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we could all say, we don't give a shit about what goes on around here.
Well,
they should take care of it, whatever. That doesn't fly.
Right.
If we're in court someday about something, we'll realize that lesson in a big way. So anyway, we are moving on this area of human resources in a big way. Let's move on to governance here. Not much really going on here with the budget of governance. Policies and procedures. I'm really trying to wrap my head around some more of this stuff. But one of the things that just came up is we don't have a policy to handle formal complaints. So I'm not going to get into the details, but we got a complaint from a realtor, a formal complaint. They called it a formal complaint. They wanted us to respond to their formal complaint. So I said to myself, do we have a procedure for that? How do we handle someone's formal complaint, right? I mean, are we obligated to handle just because someone says, this is my formal complaint, I need you to deal with that? Well,
No.
do we have to, or, huh?
Immediately.
Immediately.
They wanted it.
So this raises questions like, how do we handle stuff? How should we handle stuff in the best way? Now, that complaint immediately got kicked over to our solicitor just to see what our legal risk exposure was. Probably a very smart thing to do for all of our complaints, right? Hey, Joe, give us the legal lowdown on this right away. But other than that, how do we handle this stuff? How should we handle it? Just because someone says, I need you to jump, we're not necessarily obligated to jump, are we? So I think this is something that's going to be coming down the pipe too, how we deal with this. Because again, if we're hauled into a legal situation, we have to be able to respond. Okay? The council vacancy, the COD vacancy, that's still out there. I had one fellow on social media ask me if the vacancy was still open. I told him it was, and I haven't heard anything back. So that's still open. Legal litigation here, the PUC settlement, that looks like that's going to happen. There will be a motion on the table next week to actually settle this. We are settling for less than what the fine was. So, and then there's also a required training that goes with it. And we're trying to figure out who needs to take that training. I think you guys too will have to take this training. But there's a question of whether, because the training is different, if you're just going to handle one calls versus if you are mandated by a court action, or in this case, administrative court action, it's different. It's actually different. So Joe would probably have to tell us what that looks like.
Well, and that's something that I should bring up now too. We're gonna have to come up with something. So I know like the way that we're doing it right now is, emergency phone calls. I've been handling like the middle of the night stuff. Brian's been doing the day to day. But it would be a good idea, John, you're on sewers, correct? So if we're gonna do this, all three of us have to be on it. But this is something that's gonna have to, you have to make sure that somebody is within the borough within, I don't know, how many hours do they give us on emergencies now? I think it's within 45 minutes you have to respond.
Yeah, I was gonna say half hour.
So if there is something that happens and he's camping, I'm camping, and he's at a car show, we have to have a fallback. Just food for thought. Well, he's probably camping or car showing too. You know what I mean? Like, Florida. But you gotta have a local person that doesn't travel outside of the borough very often.
Yeah, good, excellent points, excellent. Yeah, let's do that. We'll figure this out, so that we don't get into this trouble before, but that, you know, we can provide a better service.
I will say that the emergencies have slowed down a little bit.
Until winter's coming.
Wintertime's coming, and when guys start needing overtime at the water authority, that's usually when we can expect to see more.
Okay. Okay. All right, we'll continue to work on this, figure with Joe, whatever Joe finds out about the particular kind of requirement for this training, we'll take it from there. Okay. The GEMS asset distribution proposal, that's still in the works. The Bailey request, that's still in the works, as I mentioned earlier. The legal review about the Realtor formal complaint against code enforcement officer. We'll hear from Joe of what he thinks of that formal complaint from a legal perspective there. Okay. Legislation. So we are going to pass, presumably, we're going to pass our fire ordinance, International Fire Code ordinance next week. I'm assuming we're going to pass that. And we are working on these draft amendments to the zoning ordinance to cover data centers. We found out our zoning map, Tina's been doing some great work looking into our zoning map and discovering that our zoning map is not right. I'll put it that way, not right. So we need to fix that.
Yeah.
And there may be some other things that we have to do to our zoning ordinance, and this is why it's important for us to figure this out now, is because this is not like a regular ordinance. We have to treat this differently. We have to advertise it differently. We have to hold public hearing or a public meeting on these amendments. We have to send 30 days out. We have to send these amendments to the county's zoning folks so they can review it. This is handled by the, Tina, what is it, the municipal planning ordinance, legislation, what is it? It's a whole separate statute.
Yeah.
That governs all municipalities in this area of zoning. So this is something different and new. If we're gonna do this, let's do this right. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time on this, I'm sure, to do this, but we have to do it, and we've been saying for years it needs to be done, so let's get on with it and let's do it. The updated solicitation ordinance, I'm curious to see what Joe comes up with on that. And then, of course, I mentioned earlier, the potential of a business tax ordinance review. When I did a deep dive into this issue, and I looked at our business, did you ever read our business tax ordinance? Our business and taxation ordinance, have you read it? Man, it's some complicated stuff, and it's very specific. And I guarantee you, you read that thing, there's stuff you didn't know that we have to comply with. And I guarantee you, we're not complying with.
How many businesses do we have in West Mayfield?
27.
Really?
How do you find that out?
Mrs. Brewer helped me with that project.
And they were all
So are
invited to
these-
the round table. Did you come?
I was camping.
You could have
Missed the
called.
donuts.
I wanted to be here for that too, but that would be a good question for you, I guess. My business, is that considered a business in the borough? Because I don't travel in the borough. Like, I mean, I can, but I'm a
Your
mobile
office,
business.
your
It's where it's
workspace
registered.
is in the borough.
My workspace is in my truck.
But it's in the borough. It's parked.
Parked in your yard?
Yep. It's parked in your
There you
borough.
go.
You're here.
So if I move my truck to Chippewa,
Where's your business
You can move it to
registered?
White Township by doing about,
it is parked in White
Exactly,
Township.
parked in White Township.
oh, it is?
What's your
So
business
you'd have to
license
pay the
say?
White
My
Township.
my actual business, my property that's listed for business is 337 Brook Street, which is actually Beaver Falls. That's the
pay
one
White
tax that I
Township for
pay
that.
in
Wow.
Beaver Falls.
But you keep your phone in
Also,
your
you pay
pants.
tax for that too.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the phone, she does.
This stuff is
Her pants are
complicated. It
usually-
really is complicated.
Well, that's what I'm
yes,
saying, because there's other people within here. Are you gonna go after the people that make money off of eBay? Or are you gonna go after the people like my neighbor that buys and sells cars every day?
Good question.
He's not even listed as a business owner,
He
but he's
was,
making more money than I am.
we invited him.
That's what I'm saying, like,
Who's that?
Tay-Bay,
no, yeah, well, his nephew,
his nephew. Yeah, I think you invited
I
him.
don't know.
but he doesn't have any
I
official
didn't know any of those
business.
people except Jay.
We invited him for donuts.
Okay, let's move on.
So this is something that is on our radar now. We're going to look into this, part of DCD. If we're ever going to move forward in that area, we have to, consider this stuff, so.
Jake, you have more class.
Okay, under strategic comprehensive planning, which is what this is all about, we had our business roundtable, gave us opportunity to discuss some of these things. We are phase 1 for our stamp stuff, the final report I mentioned earlier, phase 2, 3, and beyond coming up. These are great opportunities that are all for funding these projects, all within this world of strategic comprehensive planning. One of the things that is definitely probably phase 3 is a comprehensive plan for the borough. And that is everything from zoning to housing to the economy, culture and rec, the park, everything that you can think will go in this comprehensive plan that looks at right now and forward 5, 10, 20 years down the road, right? Why is that important? Because 5, 10, 20 years down the road, we're still going to be here. We're still going to have sewers. We're going to still have a park. And those, the sewers are going to be older then, the roads are going to be older then, whatever. So this comprehensive plan gives us a chance to look at planning to figure out how we're going to manage these utilities and our infrastructure, our assets and so forth over time. Very expensive to have these things done, these plans, right? I did one time, and it's really intensive, and I didn't get paid what people usually get paid, but you're talking tens of thousands of dollars to do these plans. And so there are monies through DCD for the consultants to help us. So, it's a sharing kind of thing. So that's that. Anything anyone want to add here on governance? I know it's such a sexy topic. Yeah. Public safety, let's move on to this. Sue, how are we doing? Public safety.
We're pretty
You
safe.
spend any money, we're safe?
Pretty safe.
Okay, good. Under policies and procedures here, professional reporting, So we passed a resolution requiring our public safety folks to submit written monthly reports that are also, and I put here, if you see down there, policies and procedures, these are municipal records, and they have to be treated as such. In other words, there's a retention schedule for those. They have to be treated appropriately by our agency open records office. They're considered open records and so forth. So we have to treat those reports as such. And these are also things that help us get a bead, a professional development training for qualifications and competency. We talked about that earlier. So, code enforcement, Bob. You submitted a monthly report pretty big document, thank you very much. That's in the.
You can thank Tina. She's
Thank
the
you,
one that does
Tina,
that stuff.
for all that. You covered a lot of bases. You want to give us just a quick summary of what was going on in July?
I don't have it with me. I just think about it. I don't know, what was there?
For one, I did a lot of permits. I brought in, I think about $1,600 or $1,700 with a couple,
So we had a
landlord agreements.
Yeah, but we had a couple, trying to close out old things that had been just kind of like festering, like sitting around, not completed all the way. Like people.
She's talking about contingent
occupancy permits.
occupancies.
To make them actually legal, so he's been aggressively trying to play tag with people, trying to get them updated.
Once I give them a contingent, they have 60 days or something, whatever it is, to bring it into compliance, but then they never do. And I gotta hound them, and it ain't worth
It's
going
just
to
kinda
court
slipped through the
over.
cracks.
But we did a couple of, you got it up on the board.
Yeah, this is what you sent. I mean,
Yeah, see-
here's a section here, occupancy permits, here's a
Yeah, I got
section.
3 of them, 3 re-inspections.
This is
They're
rental initial
occupancies.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get all them cleaned up. I got a couple more, but like the ones that were Denny Miller's old house. They're giving me trouble. It's just something, and the other one was that little stone-faced house across from the park. I'm dealing with Realtor on that one, and they just, I call them and I tell them they have to do this, and they just don't return the calls, or they'll call me back, see how we'll get it taken care of, and then here goes another month, and another month, and another month, and but I'm trying to get them all cleaned up. I just got a couple of them right now that need done.
So let's see, that's the expense report.
I mean, honestly, it is a thankless job, and it is a job of whack-a-mole, and it is obviously a frustrating job to get this done. But to the degree that you continue to do what your duties require you to do, and you're following the laws, rules, regulations, and so forth, you're documenting stuff, we're on the right track of all this. And we'll just
Trying to get the old stuff cleaned up, trying to make it right,
And do the new stuff at the same time. It's a lot of paperwork.
Sure, it's a lot of paperwork. Absolutely, it's a lot of paperwork. This municipalities run on paperwork. That's the business we're in, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork. So let's be good at it, right? When we do it.
Did you bring Kathy's papers?
Yeah, I did. Do you want to know about the current issue?
Yeah, can we talk about any
Sure.
current issues?
I got a contingent,
Yeah.
I got an occupancy permit request. And here's how the request went. When you get on the website, you download or you print out a application for an occupancy permit and smoke and die. And then that comes over to us, and then I schedule it. Well, what happened is, I was away,
Yep.
I was just about to come back from vacation, and she calls Tina, this lady from Remax, Amy Logan, and she says, she's harassing Tina about, well, I sent out paperwork, I sent a check 2 weeks ago, and I can't get a hold of anybody in the borough, and I've called all these numbers, I called everybody that's on the website, and I can't get an answer back. And then she said,
She didn't call me.
so then she called Tina. Oh, that's when she called Tina. Tina says, well, you need to talk to Bob. And so I got in that day, that night, I called her the next day, set up an appointment for the following day. Okay, she called Tina on the
Well, so what
20th.
she says to me is, I've been trying to get a hold of him, blah, blah, blah. I've sent this off, like 2 weeks ago, I sent off the application, I haven't heard from nothing. And then I said, well, to be honest with you, he's been gone for a week. He'll be back tomorrow or today, but one of them. And I actually have 3 letters on the counter, but I haven't opened them because why open them when ain't gonna do nothing until he gets here? So they just stay stacked, you know? I said, I got 3 on the counter, one of them might be yours. I'll be honest, I'm sorry. I said, but he'll be home, we'll open them up and he'll, you know, get a hold of you. Well, I've been gone, she was on vacation. So
Yeah.
she left it up to her son to be continuing to make these phone calls. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I mean, but,
Supposed
you know, as soon as he gets in, we'll open up the mail, and if it's one of them, we'll get you scheduled. It's no problem. Oh, okay, you know. And
That was the day I came home.
Yes.
So I called her that day, it was the same day she talked to you. I called her right back and I said, let's set it up for tomorrow, which was the 21st
Yes, the 21st.
that I talked to her.
Now, he opened up his mail, and none of them was it.
So, yeah, open up, there was
Right.
no checks in the mail.
Nothing.
Nothing from her. And I met her the next day, and she takes a piece of paper, she goes, these are the phone numbers that we've been leaving a lot of messages on. I look up Jenna's number. Okay, that's Jenna's number. I asked Jenna, she goes, I didn't get any,
I got 1 missed phone call with no voicemail,
no messages.
no message.
So I look at the other number, I called the other number, it's the Borough Garage, the old number that you can't leave a message on. So she's lying, right? So I said, all right, well, I'll inspect it. And I said, you're gonna have to give me another check. Being I didn't get a check. Fine, she writes me out a check. I said, you might as well cancel the other. I'm not gonna cancel it because it'll cost me $45, fine. So I start my electrical. I looked at the plumbing and stuff, and I go to the electrical, I hit the GFI and the fridge shuts off. I'm like, this isn't right. And this was all rewired. I said, this is not the way you wire a house. And then I go down to the panel box, that was the next thing I checked. No sticker, brand new panel, no sticker, it has to be inspected. Come back up, I said, you failed. I said, this electric was not done correctly, and you didn't get it, it wasn't inspected, so, and on her paper, she filled it out. Now, she gave me a copy of did she
No.
email that?
No, she filled it out right there, you know?
No, she
No,
Yeah, she handed me
She brought
one.
you a copy of
She
what
handed me a copy of one that she supposedly sent to me. So I'm looking at it and it says, was there an inspection done? Because most people, if you're getting a loan or whatever, a lot of people, they get the inspections. And it says, no. And I said, was this place not inspected? Oh yeah, it was inspected. I said, can I see it? And she says, no, they won't give it to me. Which, that don't sound right either to me. So I said, you're gonna have to get this electric stuff taken care of. So I go home, and it's really not setting well with me, just because of everything, the way it went down. She's yelling at Tina, she's yelling at me. So I called the prospective buyer, her name and numbers on there, and I said, was there an inspection done? Yes, and it wasn't good. I'm like, okay. She says, it had a lot of electrical problems, okay? So I sent out she said, I sent out a different inspector, must have been not inspector, but an electrician. He said the whole house needs wired, that the house could burn down. So now I'm at the point like, how can I justify giving them an occupancy permit if the house could burn down? It's something that I know now, okay? So I end up, they're giving us flack, they're calling them, she's calling the mayor and did they get a hold of you? Okay. So I said, then I get a hold of, I talked to everybody, and I talked to the solicitor
The
and,
closing department called you.
then the closing department calls and they said, the closing company, are we gonna have that, occupancy permit? I said, yeah, I'll send it over. So I write it up as contingent upon, this is a contingent permit upon getting the electrical problems taken care of and inspected, and an inspector signing off on it. Well, that wasn't good enough. They called, well, you said that all we had to do was fix the refrigerator outlet and get the panel inspected. So that's what we did. And it's still not sitting right with me. How do I just give somebody something? And I said, I just need somebody to sign off so it takes it away from me. Well, then I talked with Kevin. He said, let's get it resolved. So then I wrote it out again. I wrote out a regular contingent. I forget how it was written, but it takes the liability off of us anyways. So that's the last I knew about.
Yeah, so this is the stuff we were talking about earlier about, dealing with these.
Oh, wait, I'm not done.
Okay.
The check she wrote out, I seen her on the 22nd. She wrote out the check for the 22nd. She handed me a copy, the original that she had sent me. It was the original. I took it and I matched it up with the paper that with the copy that she said, the copy that she handed me, they're exactly the same. So now I know that she didn't send 2 weeks ago. And then whenever she sent you guys that email, she said, I sent the check out the previous week. So then the next day, I get a check in the mail, and it actually said,
It was dated like
July 20th.
I would say that said July 20th, the one that got mailed to you.
It said July 20th, and she wrote me out the check on July 22nd, 2 days apart.
That
So
she said
she's a
2
liar.
weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Well, what a mess all this could be, the back and forth and the accusations and whatnot. I think for us, we need to think about, what it is that we are obligated to do, what that procedure are what we're doing consistent with our municipal code and regulations? And beyond that, and this is how this landed eventually, was Bob basically saying, okay, you fixed those couple of things that I pointed out. Everything else from here on out between buyer and seller, we're done. Right? Which indemnifies
exactly.
us, right? And so that's probably where we need to land with all this stuff at the end of the day. But this just raises the question of, I think we really need to take a look at our process procedure to make sure that we're doing what we should do, and that we convey that to all parties, because at the end of the day, we are providing this service to the citizens and others, residents, and we have to do that according to code, according to laws, and we have to do it fairly and equally. Fairly and equally, right? That's a constitutional right. So we have to provide that, and if we don't provide these kinds of services fairly and equally to all parties, well, guess what? We're gonna be in court someday, sooner or later. We will. So that's where I think this is a great opportunity for us to just regroup on the policies and procedures, figure out what the heck we're doing. So I think this is actually a positive thing, all things considered, beneficial and positive for us, right? And, and I had to say to the realtor, Bob is our code enforcement officer. We are trusting Bob's judgment, and we will land on wherever Bob's judgment takes us, right? That's because we can't undercut our code enforcement officer. Obviously we can't, right? So then obviously the next question is, are you doing the right thing or whatever? And, you were concerned about safety and all that, which I think is the right thing.
I'm concerned about our residents.
Sure.
The next door neighboring property, if that house does catch on fire and then it catches the next door neighbor's house on fire, I guess it's nobody's.
Sure, you can look at it like that and stuff like that, but,
But neither the realtor, the seller, or the buyer, they didn't care. They just wanted me to sign that paper.
sometimes you can't take people from themselves if that's the case, but as long as we do our due diligence and we're following our code, because we can't do above and beyond our code. That's not permissible, you know what I mean? We have to follow the code.
Hindsight, looking back, the only thing that I could say and suggest that should have possibly been done is the checklist form. I think he should have finished it even though he knew that they failed.
Well, I had
That
it
way,
finished.
you know, that way, everything else, like checking the hot water tank and.
That was
you
all
know,
done.
I'm
I
just
did all
saying,
that.
you know, as long as everything else is done, they can't say, well, why do you need to come back, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Well, we're gonna hold off sending her welcome to West Mayfield. Because I don't know who, this woman, whoever bought this house,
okay.
what's that?
Needs to speak it, to be memorialized.
Oh, you need to.
Okay, let's,
Kevin, real quick before I leave,
Yeah.
Brian just brought something up to me. The roads that were paved last year, they have issues, some of the pavement issues. Did you guys, is that gonna
Island
be,
Rock, yeah,
are they going to come back? Because I was told that they would warranty
yeah,
that.
we have that, that's the
West Second.
last item on here.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got a hold of that guy.
yeah,
And the way I take it, they ain't doing nothing.
okay. Can we talk about that when we get to there?
Okay,
Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Yeah, there's chunks out, there's chunks out, right?
Thanks, Mayor.
Jerry.
Thanks for coming.
Safe.
There's chunks out of it.
Okay, where am I going here?
Rock, there's chunks out of it.
Okay, let's move on to emergency management. We spent a long time on code enforcement, and I think we're off to the right direction trying to deal with stuff here. This is, I want to share with you, this is the monthly report that we got from Mr. Kasanovich. He completed our fraud risk awareness training, of course, and under our current state of readiness, the EMA is ready to assist the temporary mobile relocation of our emergency operations center with council chamber renovation. That's good to know. And under additional comments, he's waiting for approval of our emergency operations plan, which, by the way, is now, I submitted it to the county. So I submitted it to Mr. Kasanovich for his response back, and there was nothing substantive he had to say. And it's here, you can see it, it's public. So I submitted it to the county folks, and waiting to get that back. And I think once we get it back, we'll just fix that up a little bit based on recommendations, and I think we'll have this ready to approve in September, right? The EOP. Only took a year to do it. He's coordinating with the county, adopting the next county level plan, unsure of the status of any council completion of the ICS training. Bob and Justin, you are the only two that have completed that FEMA ICS, correct? None of us have done it, so we need to do that eventually. So we'll continue, that's professional development there too, so we'll move on that. We're actually statutorily obligated to do that. Let's go to fire prevention here. Did we get a report yet, Jenna?
Not yet.
Okay, we will get,
We got a police one, but not a fire one.
yes, we got our police report, which is actually posted already, it's redacted, and it's posted publicly.
If I don't have anything by like Monday, I'll email him so we can maybe try to have it before the meeting.
Okay, great, thanks. One of the things we need to discussion is how we continue to move forward on our FSRC recommendations. We were called out by a citizen on social media today of not moving on those FSRC recommendations. Okay. The wonderful assistance around AED, first aid kits and stuff like that, that's going to be really good for us here moving forward. So we're bringing that into the mix here. Possibly some funding and possibly some in-kind materials for this stuff here. We got an Narcan kit, by the way, at that training. So that's pretty cool. A lot of benefits there with our fire department there. So planning and zoning, Tina, again, we talked about your report. We'll be working on policies and procedures too for you, your area. You got the bonding coming here. We need to come up with a plan to fix that zoning map, which we will. We talked about that a little bit. Make sure. So here's the deal. The 1995 ordinance says there's a zoning map that's approved with this ordinance. There's no map attached to it. And the only map that we know of says 2005. Now we can't find any legislation that says from 2005 that says, oh, here's our updated zoning ordinance. And then Tina found out that zoning maps need to have council signatures on them. Well, the 2005 map, which is beautiful, it's color, has no signatures. So legal, not legal, current, not current, consistent with the ordinance, it's a mess. Okay, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna work on that there. Data set, I had the town hall, I think after the last meeting we had several people from Big Beaver came, and I had a nice presentation that I put together for that. I created one of those explainer videos from that too, about how data centers and our zoning process, municipal planning code, that's it, Tina, that's what we have to follow for this zoning ordinance stuff. It's a whole separate statute. So I thought that was a pretty good time, that town hall. We had some great discussions. Big Beaver residents, those who showed up, are angry. Angry, your neighbors are angry.
We are too. It's the property behind my house. So I have 40 acres behind my house, and it's the property that lines up with it. Yeah.
It's really complicated. And if you've been paying attention to this, you know that municipalities like ours, small, unprepared for this, old zoning ordinances, are waking up with a big corporation bearing down on them, right? And saying, hey, you know, we're considering something in your neighborhood. So we're on it. We're moving in that forward. I said Joe is working on some legislation around that. Okay. Where are we here? Police, we got the report. Discussion of policing policies and procedures. Kathy and I had a talk today about the police being more aggressive in their enforcement, traffic enforcement. And maybe we could turn that into some sort of policy or procedure or some sort of leverage where we can actually get more of that in place. I don't know. Solicitation, for example. You know, when Bob will go, bless his heart, will go out and confront these solicitors who are out there, and that's probably a risky, dangerous thing to do. But Bob's not law enforcement, right? And the police say, you know, will give us a call. Well, what is our policy? I always say to people on the website and everything, yeah, call the police. Call the police, right? So maybe we need to come up with some sort of a policy that just...
It is in our ordinance about solicitation.
Right, but it doesn't say
And it
call police.
does say on there, no, but it does say that they can be fined.
Yes.
And so when he did get a hold of the police officer the one day, he said, the police officer said to him, when he was chasing him, because the guy was on the little moped thingy-majigger, whatever that thing was. Anyway, he was like, well, do you have an ordinance for it? And at the time, you know, Bob was like, because he knew, and was like, I'm sure we do, but I don't know. Now, if he could have ripped it out and said, hey, this is what it is, he could have cited him.
Yeah.
You know, which we do have one, and he can get fined, I think it's like $500, you know, for being here where he should be. But if we just chase them and chase them off, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
it's better if we kind of like wait and pin him down and then get the cop over there and say, here's the ordinance that we have, cite him, you know?
Right. If we make it a policy that we want our police force to prosecute and not just let folks go, and that's akin to, you know, stopping people speeding, like, okay, see you, don't do it again, right? Can we put teeth into anything, right? And also that ordinance, we could actually fine $600. It used to be $300, now it's permissible to do $600. So if you would like, we will have Joe put $600 as a fine for the unauthorized solicitation. That might get some attention to these outfits. Like, who's the outfit that comes here all the time? The energy.
Solar one.
Solar panels, like Trinity.
Solar.
Trinity.
There's the energy, first
It's
energy.
called
First
something.
energy.
Oh, there's
They do too.
the chronic, these guys.
Trinity
Everybody does.
pays for their
So
stuff.
we can only do what we can
Yeah.
do. Which brings me to the next question, the next point here, number 3, which is around Mr. Cogley's complaints about truck traffic, semi-truck traffic on 37th Street, Route 251, if you didn't know that. What can we do about it? What can we do about it? Well, even if we took pictures of the damage to the roadway that Rich says is taking place, how do you pin it to any particular truck or whatever, but evidence is helpful, documentation is helpful. But what we can do, and I mentioned this to Rich and I think at one of the meetings, we can make sure that our weight limit signage is conspicuous. When you come in from Chippewa, right there it says, or no, it doesn't. It doesn't say 10-ton weight limit. We're not concerned about Chippewa. We're concerned about West Mayfield. So I'm going to put a motion on the table that next week that we ask PennDOT to make these signs more conspicuous. Put one right there at the Chippewa border and also down by your house, Nora. We have one on 37th Street, but that truck's already rolling up the hill by the time it sees that. So can we do that? Will it make a difference? I'm not sure, but it's something we can do, right? It helps. It decreases the margin that we can prevent this stuff. Another thing, go ahead.
Another thing, you have not a GPS route when you're coming from Wallace Run this way for Glade Street. Well, I went down Glade Street and I was 3/4 way down and all of a sudden this semi's facing me. He was this far from me. And they can't see that, not a GPS route. So you need one facing the other way. And he told me to back up the hill and I said, I'm not backing up the hill. I said, this is not a GPS route. You need to back down. There's no place to back down. I have to go to the mill. So I turned my car off and I took a picture of his vehicle. And I said, there's a place over there on the right that you can back up to. So he backed up there finally, because what happened was he wasn't going to back up. He wanted me to go in the ditch because it's not wide enough for a semi and a car. And I said, I am not going to back up. It's Cumberland. Yeah, thanks. So there was another car behind me. So he got mad and I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you don't back up, I'll call in the police. So he went back in his vehicle. He went down over the hill. He looked at the GPS sign and I'm talking, I called, the non-emergency number and I'm talking to the dispatcher and she says, well, we'll send somebody up there. So he comes up and tries to argue with me and I said, will you please go to your truck? I'm talking to the police right now. So he did get in his truck because I said I was talking to the police. He did back up and I told him, you need to go straight on 18 to the next red light and it's way easier to get up here. I said, this road's crumbling.
It's terrible.
I said, you're gonna fall over the hillside. So he did back up and he went the other way. So I did go down to the police station. I talked to the officer and he told me, he said, if they're making a local delivery, we can't stop them. He said, but I had like 4 or 5 pictures of the truck. He took the license plate number and was gonna talk to him. So, because I told him, I said, you know what kind of shape that road's in? I said, they shouldn't be going up there.
Right.
But
That is an issue, I mean,
What's the name of the road?
it's Glade
Glade
Street,
Street.
but now, when I called the dispatcher, she said, we don't have a Glade Street. I said, yeah, we do. I said, but a lot of people call it West 4th. When I was down there, police officer, he said, oh, you mean Glade Street. And right on Wallace Run, it says Glade Street going up. Yeah.
Chief Johnson admitted that it's hard, this enforcement is hard, but, the local deliveries. Kathy and I were talking about today, one of the things we could ask the police to do is if you stop, and they say, oh, it's a local delivery, I mean, why couldn't you say, well, where are you going? We're going to verify that rather than just, excuse whatever. And maybe signage, more GPS.
Well, they have a
signage.
logbook, so you know where they're going.
Yeah.
Now, the only 2 streets, unless there's another thing somewhere else other than chapter 450, if the only 2 streets that there's a weight limit is just Patterson and 3rd.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you definitely need a weight limit on Glade Street.
But it doesn't mention any other street having a weight issue.
Right.
So if you want to have a problem with it, I mean, I
And there
guess
is
we
one
have to
on
get
West
this
Third?
revised, because it doesn't say anything about, it just mentions only
I
houses
wouldn't
and
go
dirt.
back out that building, but you know.
Okay, so, yeah, so that signage there is important. The other thing Richard's mentioning a problem with brake retarders, Jake brakes as they're called. And I come to find out that, and I'm gonna put a motion on the table next week too, we can't create an ordinance for Jake brakes. We have to get a study done by PennDOT. PennDOT has to approve it, and then it's permissible for us to create a Jake brake ordinance, where we can put signage, no Jake brake, brake retarder or stuff like that. So I didn't know that, so we found that, but if that's something we want to do, that's the process. We'll just reach out to PennDOT and ask for that study. And if they come back and say no, then, okay, moot point, right? But if they say, yeah, you could do that, then that next step would be to create that ordinance, get the signage and so forth. Rich would be happy, won't wake him up at night, I guess, right? Okay, so this is a lesson, I think, guys. We can't do everything, and I know stuff is frustrating, but I think we should always ask ourselves, well, what can we do? What can we do to at least maybe decrease the margins of public safety, decrease the margins where something, we just make things less possible, right? I think that's how we have to approach a lot of this stuff. Because if we do and we caught the attitude I heard for years and years around the council table is, oh, we tried that, didn't work. Yeah, we did that one time, whatever. And just shrug your shoulders. Well, I don't think shrugging your shoulders is a viable municipal strategy, right? Not for us, you know what I mean? So we should think through this a little better. Okay, the last thing I want to mention here, Brian, this is for you too. Sue and I talked about our traffic roadway pedestrian safety stuff. That stop sign, the one in the big concrete thing, right? We got to get that fixed.
Okay.
Okay? So, is there
The one
anything?
on Patterson and West Third.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had talked about, whatever goes in there, that has to be on a breakaway, okay?
Yeah.
And we talked about, my thought was to square up that intersection. You said, no, the trucks need some turn, okay, I defer, okay. But we do need to get that pole, that concrete out of there, put the pole on there. Where it's placed, 13 feet is permissible, so maybe it doesn't even have to be moved, right?
Just put a standard pole right where it's at, or?
I think that's permissible. I think 13 feet is permissible, the lateral from the edge of the road. I think that's probably it. Because if trucks are making that curve, like you say, or whatever, you guys with your big trucks, again, I'll defer to you. If you think that's appropriate, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't cut that road out.
Okay. All right, but we need to get that concrete out, put it on a breakaway, okay?
One other thing I wanted to mention, and that's fine, I'll change it, whatever you guys want.
Okay.
But you go up the mall, there's concrete poles everywhere.
Go where?
Up at Beaver Valley Mall,
Yeah.
there's concrete poles everywhere.
Well, that's private
though.
property. Yeah, that's private property. It's a little bit different. Yeah. It doesn't make it any less safe, but yeah.
They can try to see people.
Yeah. If you look around, if you
Large
look,
supply poles around.
if you pay attention to those poles, you'll see more and more and more the breakaway systems on there. It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Well, it's because it's cheaper to replace that little piece on the bottom than to replace the whole sign.
And it's safer. It's
It's pretty much speaks for itself, that sign at the end of Harvest there.
Yeah, we had.
We put it on there and the guy ran it over.
And it just popped, boom, the bolts popped off and that's it, right?
Somebody hit it already?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jeez.
Good garbage truck ran over.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt the sign or nothing, just put new bolts back.
But there is a real public safety rationale for that stuff. And having that base pole no more than 4 inches up out of the ground, that's a real thing too, because things higher than that could rip it open gas tanks, and even now ripping open the batteries of these electric cars and catching fire. So it's a real thing too. So let's follow the codes and make that happen, okay? Anything else you want to add on that?
No?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're in the home stretch here, guys, Public Works. Budget, you guys done the budget? Spend any money?
I haven't spent any money. I got my own problems.
Okay. Oh, we're spending a lot of money on Public Works, but as a department, we're not, right? I mentioned the PA one-call training, that's going to be flushed out. The Public Works asset inventory thing, tentatively that should take place in August. I don't think we're going to get that together. We need to regroup on that idea to figure out how we can do that without outsourcing.
Just my opinion.
Okay, but we do need to have an asset inventory of all the stuff back there. It's a good time too to look at stuff when you're bean counting and go, oh, I gotta document this thing. This thing's a piece of junk. Maybe we should get a new one, right? That's a good opportunity. Another benefit that comes from this process, So there's that. Boy, our Public Works reporting and inspections, Bill Heaton had set up outfall inspections, the road inspections and stuff, and we know that stuff is there on the books. We haven't been following through on that, so we're going to try to keep up with that stuff as we move forward.
How do we figure out far as, I was going to ask you about far as fixing any kind of roads, any kind of fixing.
Yeah, so we'll
Do we got any kind of budget for that, or?
Oh yeah, so the way it's shaped up theoretically, we passed a resolution that said, because we recognized that we were paving roads way into the late fall, inclement weather, that wasn't optimal. Even the PennDOT guy, remember, Dean said, that's crazy, you're doing that, right? And there are kind of reasons why other municipalities do it. The big pavers are busy with government jobs and then they free up. Anyways, but it shouldn't happen anyway. So we passed that resolution that said, oh, we should have this kicked forward in the year so we don't have to deal with that. And so our requests for bids should be put out no later than May 30th. Right? That was a resolution. We completely failed to achieve that this year, right? We can't put out a request for bids if we don't have a sense of what roads we need to pave. And so what council used to do is they all would get together, maybe they drank beer, I don't know.
No, we just ride around and look at the roads.
Yeah, drinking beer, maybe.
I don't drink beer.
But this happened. And so I actually have on our municipal planner, in the spring, as soon as possible, weather permitting, that we will do that assessment and figure out what is it that is most pressing so that we can then turn around and go, okay, then let's think about getting these roads paved. We need a request for bids. And then at that same time, we can look at our budget and say, okay, this is the monies we have from liquid fuels, the monies we need to pull from other places, whatever, to do what we think we need to do on a priority basis, right? That totally fell apart this year. Okay, this is a burner year, right? But moving forward, good question. How do we do road paving that matches our budget, our timeline, and all that sort of stuff? What can we do? I think we should do more smaller jobs, which then brings up the question of maybe we need a hot box. We talked about the hot box. Brian, what's the hot box, everybody?
I was checking about that today, actually.
Okay.
And that guy was, he was supposed to email you, either you or you, brochures on them. I don't know if he ever did. But I called him today and asked him how much it would cost to rent one of them for, by day or by the month.
Yeah.
Or by the week, yeah. He wants $400 a day or $1,200 a week for a hot box, 3-ton hot box. And those are places that we could actually use it, use a hot patch on it now. And I didn't know if we had a budget for that or.
We have money. We have money for this stuff. We just need to know what to do, right? We need a plan to do it. We need to figure out, how to expend that money in the right way. Yeah.
There's some potholes and stuff, sides of the road that are broke off, and stuff like that needs to be
Absolutely.
fixed.
You know, we just have to face this reality. When we do nothing, nothing gets done. It's gonna get worse if we do nothing. So doing nothing's really not an option for
Wouldn't it be
us.
better to have our own hot box and we can just do stuff as
It's-
we need it?
That's a good
Instead of
question.
rent one.
That's a
going,
good
"Oh, I
question.
wanna do this.
Hopefully, you
Maybe-
sent it,
Then we can-
hopefully you sent it to me, to my email tonight.
Yeah.
He said he sent it all over the place, he didn't know where it was.
But maybe sometimes
But,
it's more cost advantageous to rent for a particular, I mean, we just have to figure out the
Oh,
job,
yeah.
right? What is it?
Depends on what you're gonna do, I guess.
Right, Margaret?
I have a question. I don't know if I missed the answer, but earlier on, Brian talked about the roads that were paved last year that are in disrepair, and was there a warranty or something on them?
Yes.
Yeah, that's-
Or why don't we go
Th-
after
this is-
the company that,
Our very last item here is the right, well, let's skip to it. Right asphalt contract guarantee. Brian said, I think we have a guarantee on this stuff. And so I looked at all that paperwork. Gosh, there was a lot of crazy paperwork.
Jake actually brought it up to me.
Sure enough, found it in there, 12-month guarantee. It was worded dubiously, in my view, vague. But I think that, and you reached out to them, and
Yeah.
how did that play out?
Well, that guy called me back, he said that, I told him what roads were screwing up. And, he told me that, he got a hold of somebody, you know, cause I wasn't involved in that contract, so I didn't know what was going on. That, he told whoever that it was getting cold out and, pavement wasn't gonna cure correctly. And they told him to do it anyhow.
That's what we told them. We told them that it was too cold.
Yeah.
That is what he told me.
Well, why did we let it go through?
And
Because they said they'd warranty it.
So now they're warranted and
That's
warranted.
interesting.
okay, well,
Okay.
what,
Well, here we are.
I don't know where, you know, what was said there, or I remembered it. But, this is what he's telling me, and I don't know who told him that, or, you know,
another friend of mine,
something needs to be,
I would say give that to Joe. Let Joe send him a letter.
And/or the engineer, right? And/or the,
Yeah.
this would be, we should bring
Yeah.
Whitmer in on this.
Yeah,
Yep,
And
that's
get,
what we're paying
and get an
them for.
engineering opinion on this.
Yeah.
And get Joe in on it, and then reach out to Wright, because, you know, they don't want to do this work, obviously, right?
Right.
It's money for them, so you can almost expect them to give the pushback. But I'd say let's move forward on this, because we're tick, 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 right? We have till December?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
That's what they did.
yeah, there's only a few more months.
We did it in December, right? That paving?
Yeah, 'cause it snowed.
End of November,
End
beginning
of-
of December, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's breaking up on rock
Yeah,
too.
it's
where-
crazy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on.
That's where I was, you know,
yeah.
I'm not speaking for somebody else, you know, I don't know who told them that, or if they told them that, or what.
It
you know.
doesn't matter if they don't have anything signed, right? Yeah, I like, if
Like,
no
who
one's,
cares what
yeah.
he's told
I-
us
Who
then?
cares?
And if you read that one bullet point that mentions the guarantee, it's weirdly worded.
It should
Like, you
have.
don't know if it's materials or workmanship or both, or it's like product or something, like, it's weird. But, yeah, let Joe and the engineer figure it
But
out.
it's on the contract, they should have to.
Yeah, it's in the, absolutely, it's in the contract.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It should be,
Okay.
yeah, like this month.
Who said what, you know?
So let's move on to buildings and grounds here. So Justin, you and Brian were having a conversation at some meeting about getting some more bids for a power generator. And I just, Jenna, you gave me one, Albert's.
I also emailed it to everybody as well.
Yeah, we just got
so
that
they can-
today.
Yeah, I
There
just
was
got
a
it as
new
well.
one, yeah.
Would you have a flourish of emails going out?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, so I think this might be our 1, 2, 3, maybe our fourth bid or fourth spec on some stuff. I really want to move on this. Do you all want to move on this?
Alvin's is who I called when the air conditioner was broke. He came right out and fixed it.
That's Albert's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I put in
This
the
guy.
email. I put that was the person.
Is that the only one we
Right.
got?
That we have
no,
four.
we have about 4, yeah.
Just
I
the
didn't
most
look at the new one, is the new one separated as like, did they still wanna
This thing? Yeah.
repair the, yeah, did they still wanna repair the
replace the
Yeah,
panel.
now what he was saying, I talked to him, he was saying he'd get rid of that wall and put the electric box on the building. Which makes total sense to me.
Yeah, sure.
But, I think that was in there,
Okay.
Who in the
or he had
four?
it separated
And then,
somehow.
is there any like yearly service that, cause what,
So who in the four?
yeah, cause what I was told is like, if we get a generator, it's like, there's always a service contract with it, and there should
This
be.
one's out,
You
yeah.
have the email.
Okay,
maintain that.
so here's the deal. If we want to get this done, that's the goal, right? We want service, we want this power service in here, right? Am I correct? We have the money to do it, correct? Although I should say, if the GEMS money business comes through, we could use that money to do this. Or we could use that money to pay us back for expending the money now. But we do have the money to do it. What we don't have, I think, is our shtick together to get this moving.
Yeah, the money that we have to do this, where are you doing that budget line from?
I don't know, but because this was not even on the radar then. I don't know. We may just have to take that out and assign it to something so there's accountability. But it's not like we don't have the money.
Yeah, sure, we have the
Right.
money, I have a problem with just kind of spending money on projects without knowing any totally blind to financials right now, right?
Yeah, and that's something, that's the next step. We actually do need to look at these bids and figure out, okay, what's the best course of action here, cost-wise, cost and service, we have to make that call.
Sure, yeah.
And then when we get that understanding of what this is gonna cost, what we're gonna get for it, then I think the next question is to make the action, to move on it.
Yeah.
And I think, we can do this in the fall. I think it was kind of the goal to get it done by September anyways. But, so, can you, after you fix that lid over there with that stupid hole, because you're good at that, this is about on par with that, frustration wise, I'm sure. Could you,
It's just right on par with that.
could you help,
Same thing.
could you help pull this end of it together?
Yeah.
Like look at, because I have all the paperwork to send and whatever, and maybe some of those other bids aren't even relevant anymore, I don't know.
Okay.
And I don't think we need to go whole hog on this, I think we can work with what we have to move forward, but you're very prudent on a lot of this stuff, so I would trust your judgment, right, to get that going, which would then lead to, let's go ahead and make a motion for this, and then we'll have this service, especially for winter would be awesome. Right. Okay, to where are we on this?
Equipment and vehicles.
I'm sorry, where?
Equipment and vehicles.
Oh, vehicles, equipment, yeah. So, Brian, you drive around in our vehicles, and I'm sure that's a pleasant experience every day. And luxury, you would know best what we need for our vehicles, so, let us know so we can stay on top of these things, like the inspections and any repairs and the preventative maintenance. And I know you've done preventative maintenance on the vehicles, and I think that's greatly appreciated, and that's cost savings to us, and we would certainly encourage
I got a
that.
book, logging back here, everything I've been doing. So,
Excellent, okay.
I do have a little note here, some stuff that I do need for a couple of pieces up there.
Okay,
This was
let me know.
bring it up or what?
If we have to make an appropriations next week, we need to know what that is, okay?
Okay,
So you want to just give that to me, or
sure.
can you tell me about it?
It's just small stuff.
Oh, small stuff.
Like the big truck, it came factory with an air seat. Well, that air seat's been broke for 10 years. And I've been pumping it up every time it needed, with our air compressor. I was wanting to take that seat out and put a regular bench seat in the truck. Just go to the junkyard or whatever and pick up a good bench seat, put in it.
Cost?
Like $200.
Good luck finding one.
Yeah.
If it isn't all broke down.
Yeah, and then, we're gonna need tires for the Bobcat, they're worn out,
Okay.
and,
something like that, it's absolutely necessary. That's,
You know.
that's probably something like that, you gotta just do it and make sure that we get the accounting for doing that, but we can't not have good tires.
Yeah, well, they're usually for a Bobcat, they're around between $1,000 and $1,500 for the 4 tires for it. And then I was gonna talk about that hot box.
Okay, so maybe between now and next week, we could formulate maybe something specific, right, Justin, for a specific motion requesting monies for, those tires. So if you can come up with, like, what that would cost for those tires,
Okay.
with that, I think that bench is really de minimis, do you think? Don't worry about the bench. And then the hot box too, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good, we'll make that happen. All right. Sanitation and waste, and we don't think about this very much for us, but it's definitely, where are we? So, this is, Waste Management handles this, but maybe you saw it, Waste Management has a Shred It community event program. A couple people on Facebook said they'd be interested in, they'd come in with a shredder and you'd bring your top secret documents there, your spy material, and you would shred it there. So it's free, right? It's free. I think it's free. Did you read the flyer?
I received something and sent it to everybody. Well, actually, it looks like when you first got here, but it's not free.
Oh, it's not.
No. It is. Sorry. So it's $250 per hour, and it usually happens on a Saturday. And they basically recommend, like, the minimum is 3 hours. You can have it shorter, but you're still gonna be charged. They can hold 10,000 pounds of paperwork.
I'm sorry. It's free for citizens. It's not free.
Right,
Because we're
yeah,
the
it's free,
host.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
okay.
we would be the host.
We would pay
right?
for this, but the citizens can bring everything for free.
Okay.
But it does cost the borough money to do it,
Okay.
so the citizens are aware.
Now, I think there were 3 people chimed in on Facebook and said, yeah, that would be great. Does that justify us having this?
Probably not,
I don't-
depending on what it's gonna cost.
Right, and I can see some people coming up here with boxes of old papers and boxes and just dumping and saying, see ya.
Wright Field had one last year.
Brady's Run did one.
Brady's Run.
The
They're
credit
actually
union,
August
credit union does it.
15th or something is another one. They've had one every month.
Let's let our residents take it there.
Yeah, so the question for us is, because we would have to pay for it,
It was nice because
Is this worth our effort?
Electronics there.
you
too.
say no?
I say no.
Yeah.
Not with this many places having them. West Aircom has one in September.
Yeah,
So there's one every month somewhere.
Yeah,
right.
Put it in your car and drive it there.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta put it in your car to bring it here anyways.
And I've got a home shredder. I think a lot of people have little home shredders too. Okay, so maybe that, I don't know, let's keep a beat on this. If there's a groundswell of information, enthusiasm for this, okay, maybe.
That's a good idea, Tina.
What?
Put it on the website where they're
That's
at,
where they're at.
where they're doing it for free.
Yeah, okay. For sewers, for the MS4 stuff, the outfall survey was one of the things, tentatively it was due in June. We didn't get that, but I think we're gonna have to regroup on that moving forward so we can stay on top of that, because as we learned with our DEP silt water project in the park, some of that stuff can be expensive. We need to keep on top of that, whatever, because DEP's gonna bear down on us. And some of that reporting that we have not done because we don't know how to do it, is about this stuff. So, yeah, I'll be learning that, I guess. And I'll be sharing that with you, Bob and John, how to do those reports.
Okay.
I got enough reporting to do.
I know, don't we all, right?
I don't
Okay.
know, I heard Tina does all that, but.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't have the
That's
patience for it.
Okay, for streets here, the number one there, the 26 paving plan, which was due in April, similar, this is probably gonna be a write-off year for that. Roadside the storm water drainage project on West 7th, Brian, West 7th and 43rd, where are we on that?
Justin did mention that he's gonna try and get a hold of his neighbor about going into his driveway there and seeing.
Yeah,
I failed on that one, I'll be completely honest.
And I've been trying to, every time I go up there, I look to see if anybody's home and
Yeah,
whatever.
okay. Okay, well, it is something that we've documented it,
It's like,
we've identified it
it's
as,
like we got 50-foot, frontage on this, like, just go do it, they'll get a hold of us.
yeah, where'd my driveway
I have a
go?
contact.
Send them a letter.
Yeah, I have a way to contact him on the internet, so I'll reach out to him and I'll have him give you a call.
Okay, so whatever it takes to bust through this, okay, let's
I didn't
do
know
it.
if it was right to go up there and put a note on his door telling you to call us or something.
Yeah, sure, why not, yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach
Okay.
out to him.
That's that. We already talked about the right asphalt stuff, and that really concludes basically all of our discussion topics. I know it was a lot. 8:45, it was a lot, but I think we got pretty good understanding of a lot of things, a lot of direction on a lot of things. And so, yeah. And so we will take up some of this stuff as business items next week through motions and votes and all that sort of good stuff. Anything for good and welfare?
I just want to say, when I rent out the Jubilee shelter or the kitchen shelter, I unlock them, but I don't open the things up. So when people go down there, they can just open the door and go in. Because you don't want to open those windows on the kitchen shelter. And then a lot of people come down just to have a graduation party or a birthday party, and they don't come till 1 or 2. The last one came like from 3 o'clock till 7. So you're better off just to unlock them, don't turn any lights on. And then I usually run down later on, see if they're there, and just tell them, hey, make sure you lock these because you're responsible.
Mayor, you had something? Good
Yeah.
welfare? Did you have something for good and welfare?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoever talks to the right people, WRIGHT,
The pavement, the asphalt pavers?
yeah,
Okay.
they just bought the Beaver Valley Country Club up there in Patterson.
So do you want that?
Yeah,
Oh.
so they can buy that. They can do our roads. And,
Good point.
and
Or they can't because
Nora,
they just bought that.
you guys,
Two ways of looking at
you're
it.
doing fabulous down there. And I think we talked about this. I thought we passed the sign that's going down in the park. All those rules and regulations.
We haven't passed the rules and regulations.
I thought we
We
did.
haven't finalized it.
Well, when we do, I think we need to get that sign up real quick because there should only be one event where people park on that grass, which is the car cruise. Because
Is that one of our rules? No parking on the grass?
I don't-
On the-
That's okay. We
I
get
think
special
it's all, I
exceptions.
think
Yeah.
there's a sign down there
Yeah,
that says
parking on the
keep
grass.
off the grass.
Yeah.
Where Kathy has a beautiful garden she put in there.
Yeah.
That says keep off the grass, no parking.
That's something, building and grounds, maybe you can get involved with this
Okay.
on that, the parking, because this is an issue that comes up over and over again, how we deal with that.
It's not bad if it's dry, but if it rains, they shouldn't park in the grass.
I
Right, and
know.
there could be some serious damage. You've seen this, you see it on the news, and some of this damage happens. Okay, thank you, Mayor. I would strongly encourage you to, will you look into what some signs cost and find some good examples out there at other parks, and maybe we can look at them and go,
I think we
okay,
ought to get the sign up ASAP.
well, we
Yeah,
need to know what to
I'll
get. Yeah, I
put it-
agree with you, but we need to we gotta pass the resolution first to make it official.
Okay.
And then we can get
And
a
I think we
sign.
need one at the beginning and one at the beginning.
That sounds,
Two big signs
Sure.
for the park.
I think Brian had something else as well.
yes, Brian.
About that, right paving thing.
Yeah.
They sold their paving division to Lindsay Paving.
Right.
That just,
So they could eat at the country club. Yeah, right.
So,
Are they still in business? Like, are they still right paving?
no, they have to honor that contract if they did
Sure,
it.
they do.
Sure.
Yeah.
They have to, because that guy even told me that. But they did sell their paving you
To
know.
Lindy.
Okay. Hey, can we regroup back on this, the action plan here around that? Because we talked about Joe should be involved, engineers should be, will you reach out to the engineers and will you meet them? And you guys, if you want to be involved with that, of course, bring those guys up there and get some sense from them where we stand on that pave work. Can you do that?
The engineer is
The engineer, Whitmer.
Or Whitmer, yeah.
Just give them a call, right? Give them a call, and will you handle that?
Yeah,
And let these guys know?
like I
And,
said, I don't know exactly what everything was said there, you know, when whoever told him to do it.
Well, they
no matter
did.
what, but
they broke,
says.
whatever the contract says, yeah.
and they brokered that because that was a liquid fuels thing. Yeah, too, so, why don't you do that, okay?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, good.
Hey,
Pam?
it's supposed to rain the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Even on Saturday. Could we
Yeah.
move that to the parking lots down there or something?
Move on.
Isn't that car crew?
No, it's next
The
week.
weekend after.
Next.
Oh, that's next, okay.
Yeah,
And it's supposed to dry out.
it's supposed to be totally dry so far.
Yeah,
Okay, guys, is there any more good and welfare?
I have a question. So when you're coming from Chippewa on 37th Street, past Napoli's,
Yeah,
and you try to look up, because you're in that little dip, and that trees that's all over 37th Street that you can't see up the top of the hill,
Yeah.
who's responsible for that? I know that's a main road, but that's.
Yeah, you can't see when you pull out.
that would be
No, you
PennDOT,
you
correct?
can't, it's hard, because I'm making a left into High Street, and we're, okay, wait a minute, and then coming out of Rock Avenue, I'm sure you can't see what's coming down
Well,
there.
that would be PennDOT.
Yeah, that's PennDOT.
PennDOT.
Just give them a call. They'll look into it.
Yeah, if you want to, as a citizen, want to do that, Brian could probably do that. Brian has a good relationship with PennDOT. First name, don't mind, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in all seriousness, yeah, that would be a PennDOT thing.
Okay.
Oh, another thing, whenever that water main break was by my house, that is all like this from whenever they repaved it, the municipal authority. And it's part on 37th Street, so I don't.
Call the
But the
municipal.
municipal
Call
authority
Mr.
did that.
And Brian knows them too, so
They're
Brian,
supposed to fix it.
Brian, we're gonna make
Brian
you a
knows everything.
Brian's the
list.
guy.
Knows everything.
Okay, so seeing that we covered all of our business on this agenda and that you guys have a weird sense of what good welfare is, I'll tell you. We need to work on this.
No problem.
That wasn't any good stuff.
Yeah, right. So I see no reason why we can't adjourn this meeting, so I believe we are adjourned.
We're adjourned.
8:52.
Better than